Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Can I ask everyone to take their seats, please, or meeting's about to start. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the special meeting of the Stonington Planning and Zoning Commission for September 16, 2025. I'm Chuck Sheehan, I'm the chairman. Let the record reflect that the meeting was called to order at 7 p.m. sharp. Just a couple of ground rules before we start out tonight. This is a larger meeting than we are normally accustomed to. I anticipate that many people will want to speak at this meeting during the public hearing portion, which we'll get to eventually after we get through the other items on the agenda. And for that reason, we would ask that if you sign up to speak, and there'll be sign-up sheets for each application that's going to be a public hearing for in the back of the room. You'll see them off to the left-hand side there where people are signing in now. If you wish to speak, please sign up under the item you wish to speak under. And again, because of the large crowd and as a courtesy to everyone who wishes to speak, we are interested in hearing from everyone that is here this evening. In order to get through this by 10:30, because we have to vacate the room by that time, the building closes at 11 o'clock, it's necessary that we do that. We certainly will accept any statements in writing now and immediately after the meeting, which will become a part of the record, and that's just as effective as actually stating it. If there isn't any objection on the board, I'd like to move agenda item 8C, Stone Ridge Senior Care, which is to position 8A, which will not be heard tonight. So unless there's an objection, we'll reorder the agenda. It's fine? Okay, thank you. Seated this evening for regular members that are absent, are Mary Ellen Mataluska and Dave Resendez. Thank you both for being here this evening. So what's the Commission's pleasure under item 3 on minutes 1802 for August 19th, 2025?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from meeting number 1802 from August 19, 2025 as submitted.
Motion by Ryan to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The chair abstains, motion passes.
I abstain, I was not at that meeting.
Okay, fine, one abstention. Thank you, Marilyn. Next item on the agenda is an opportunity for public comment. This is for public comment on any item that's not on the agenda. So, for instance, if you wanted to talk about item 7A on our agenda, this is not an appropriate time to stand up and speak. But if you have an issue that you'd like to address to the Commission, we're all ears under this item, public comment. Anyone wish to address the Commission? Hearing none, we'll move on to item 5, correspondence. Clifton?
None.
I did have one item of correspondence, and it might be more appropriate under the public hearing phase, but we did have a letter from one of our first select person who was actually writing as a licensed professional and not really a first select person on one of our agenda items. Is it more appropriate that that come up in the public hearing phase?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Then we'll move on from correspondence to report staff.
None.
Commission, I have nothing. Zoning enforcement violations, any questions on the report that was included in your packet? Hearing none, items under administrative review. Item 1, application 25-215 ZON Phoenix Pawcatuck LLC, administrative review for the installation of an 8x10 storage shed, property located at 100 Mechanic Street, Pawcatuck. Map block lot number 4-7-16. Properties are located in the HM zone. Is there anyone here from Phoenix?
Yes.
Just identify yourself, please, sir. Good
What's
evening.
that? Rich Fortunato with Architectural Building Systems.
Evening.
So we're looking to put a 8x10 storage shed in between buildings 26 and 27 located at 100 Mechanic Street. It's Applied Physical Science is the user over there. That's General Dynamics in their research lab. And that's really all there is. We provided a map showing a building location in between the buildings. It's in an area where there is existing mechanical equipment, and that's really it. There's a photo of the shed, which I believe you guys should have received. I have copies with me if you need them.
We do have copies. Is this permanent or I guess it's permanent?
I would say it's permanent. It's, relatively long-term is their plan.
Fine.
Yeah.
Any other questions of Phoenix Pocketbook application?
No.
What's the commission's pleasure on this application?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the application of Phoenix Pawcatuck LLC as submitted, no stipulations.
Second.
Motion approved, seconded, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains, motion passes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay, under old business. Brian, would you mind reading these from between all? Our secretary is retired as of the last meeting, so.
Old business. The next item is PZ 2528 SPA Town of Stonington, CLA Engineers Incorporated, K. Hubbard. Site plan application for the creation of a public recreation area with associated site work. Property located at 29 Noyes Avenue, Pawcatuck, MEL 1-3-1. Property is located in the PD5 zone.
Thank you.
For the record, my name is Kyle Hobart. I work for CLA Engineers. We're located 317 Main Street in Norwich.
1 second, is the mic on there?
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Again, Kyle Hobart from CLA Engineers, 317 Main Street in Norwich. Here tonight on behalf of the town of Stonington. They are the applicant. They're also the landowner of 29 Noyes Avenue in Pawcatuck. To orient everybody, the property is located at the end of Noyes Avenue. There's a cul-de-sac here, and then the remaining property is down here. It's bordered by the Pawcatuck River at the top of the sheet, and then the railroad on the east of the sheet over here. The site was formerly owned by Westerly Water. The site's commonly known as the Circus Lot, I should say that too. It's formerly Westerly Water, again, currently owned by the town of Stonington. The property is located within the Pawcatuck Village Zone. The town is proposing a recreational use on the property, and that is allowed in that zone. The proposed development includes removal of, there's an existing well house right in here, and that's built up on a mound of gravel. So the town would like to remove that well house. They're going to remove any remnants of the remaining well and appurtenances out there that were used for the well. And then bring that gravel down to the level of the surrounding grade. The town is going to take that gravel, they'll stockpile it and store it and use it for their projects, public works projects around town. The property has been cleared somewhat to about this line right about here. It has been cleared. We're proposing to continue clearing closer to the river. And then we'll loop the property with a stone dust walking track for passive recreation around the property. There's also a proposed 23 spot parking area right here. That'll be gravel, and that'll reuse the existing driveway entrance that's used to access the well house now. We've also kind of designated a potential playground area in the middle here. For the time being, that will just be a wood chip surface. There's not planned for any equipment or anything like that at this point. It's kind of prepped for the future. And I should say we've designated this as a phase 1 of the development. I know there are master planning and there's other items that might come in the future for this property. There's no concrete, there's no definitive phases in the future at this point. But this is kind of the prep and kind of setting a baseline for for future out there in case the town doesn't want to move forward with any other development out there. We're also Public Works will be providing some screening plantings along this property boundary here. as well as along this property boundary around here. We've proposed some stormwater improvements for the property. We're doing a water quality basin in this corner here. That will pick up the end of Noyes Ave and the cul-de-sac that currently sheet flows onto the property. We've also provided another water quality basin in this area here that will pick up the gravel parking lot, stormwater from the gravel parking lot. And we've been working with Public Works and the engineering department on the designs of those. We have also proposed and provided erosion and sedimentation control measures. We'll surround the perimeter with silt fence. And then we've also provided some areas for stockpiling of materials while the project is under construction. And the Public Works Department will be doing the construction on the site, so it will be town staff doing the work out there. And then we've called for any of the disturbed areas out there. There'll be top dress and topsoil and grass seed. The remnants, the remaining areas within the development will just be open space for passive use. With that, if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Clifton, any comments from the town engineer?
There are a couple of comments from the town engineer, but they could just be stipulated as a...
Fine. Anyone have any questions of the representative from CLA Engineers?
Yeah, I just have a couple, just one. So you're gonna clear the lot to the limits and then it's just gonna be grass, right? Grass, the walking path.
That's
and the
correct.
playground.
Yep, it'll all be grass, open space. We did go before the police commission. They were very happy with that because it would be clear and open and they'd be able to see the entire property from the cul-de-sac.
Any lighting?
There's no new lighting proposed at this point. There is a street light, I believe, on the pole here that will remain in place, but there's no new lighting for the property.
You know the hours of operation?
The town has standard hours of operations for their parks that it will go by. I don't recall exactly what those are, but they are intended to match what the rest of the town is.
Okay. Dave, any other questions?
Yeah, looks nice.
Anyone else?
I have a quick question. Okay. So the stone dust path, a lot of times they get really weedy. Are they planning any kind of herbicide, weed killers, or is it just going to use a plastic geotextile?
It'll just be a
Just because so close to the wetlands, can we, that's like, I don't know, somehow stipulate nothing?
It couldn't because it's subject to a wetlands permit already.
And what is the wetlands permit?
Well, it would not allow you to herbicide.
It does say that?
Yes.
The wetlands permit does?
Well, if they wanted to, they would have to go back before the wetlands permit.
Correct.
So the wetlands permit says they can't use herbicides on it?
Correct, the wetlands regulations, yeah.
Perfect.
And there would be geotextile underneath, so there isn't the intent.
I just know like we've done these before and then like in 2 years,
There certainly is that potential, yes.
they
Yeah,
want to make
yeah.
sure that there's nothing toxic going into it. Thanks.
Yeah.
Any further questions? Hearing none, what's the commission's pleasure on the application of the town of Stonington?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the application of the town of Stonington with the following stipulation. Number one, the applicant shall address outstanding comments to the satisfaction of the town engineer and town planner as necessary.
Motion to approve with stipulations. Thank you, Ryan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, thank you both. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? The chair abstains. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Item 7B, Ryan?
Item 7B, this is PZ2530BR EG Home LLC, Chris Oliveria. I hope I pronounced that properly, I apologize. Bond release application for work performed under application PZ0360SD SUP GP. Properties are located at 50 and 58 Nautilus Way, Stonington, MBL 165-514C and 165-514D. Properties are located in the RA40 zone.
Anyone here from EG Home LLC?
Chris Oliver, EG Home.
Chris?
How you doing? This bond was put into place while we constructed lots 47 and 48. There was a swale that was constructed by the previous developer. The bond was put into place so we didn't destroy it basically while we were under construction for the homes. I received comment from the town about some improvements that they wanted made. The improvements were made. I just need someone to come out and physically approve it at this point.
Has the town engineer looked at this?
He's been out of the office for the past couple of weeks and hasn't been able to get on site yet.
I actually drove by there, it looks pretty good. But I, you know, of course, that's no substitute for the town engineer looking for. So we'll, I guess, get Chris to look at it,
Correct.
and we have to wait for Chris to look at it before we.
You could, or you could stipulate its approval based upon Chris and review, same as every other time.
Would you have any concern with that being done?
I don't know.
What's the commission's pleasure on the bond release?
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the bond release of E.G. Home with the following stipulation that they will, the bond release will only take effect after the inspector has actually looked at the property and signed off.
Inspector being the town engineer.
Town engineer, I'm sorry, town engineer.
Okay, so a motion to release subject to town engineering acceptance of the, I think it was 2 remaining items. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Dave. Thank you, Dave. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion to approve the bond release with stipulation?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? I abstain. Motion passes. Thanks, sir. I'm next.
Yeah, he's next. Next one, yeah.
Okay. Next item is PZ 253, I'm sorry.
You all have microphones. We can't hear anything you're saying, so could you please speak up?
He's got his mic on.
I'm not a lot of people.
Is that better? Can you hear us now?
Yeah, is that better? It's hard to,
Sorry about that.
apologies.
This is our
First
our first night with this PA system, so I'm sorry. Please raise your hand if you can. It's essential that everyone can hear us. Thank you for making that comment.
Okay, next item is PZ 2531BR EG Shoreline 1 LLC, Chris Oliveria. Bond release application for work performed under application PZ 0360SD SUPGP. Properties are located on Nautilus Way and Yellowfin Port, Stonington, MBL 165-518-L, 165-514C-M, and 148-3-9D-I. Properties are located in the RA40 zone.
Okay, Chris, would you like to make any comments?
This bond was put into place to cover the erosion control for the individual lots. The HOA is, they are under control of the ponds and stuff like that, the basins. I reached out to, I got the comments from CLA. I wanted to reach out to the town engineer to go over, I don't understand why I'm being asked to dredge a pond again, which has already been done, when there's vegetation and growth already in there, so.
What's Chris's position on this?
It's the same comment as last time. He hasn't been here in the past couple of weeks.
Okay. So it sounds like there's issues with this one.
I want to hold off on this one.
And you know, that I think I would like his input on, so maybe perhaps a motion to table this till the next meeting, and I'm sorry for the delay. Yeah. But we'll jump on it, and there'll be communication from the town engineer. Thank you, Chris.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion then to table this item for PZ 2531BR until the next scheduled meeting.
Motion to table the second bond release. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains. Motion passes. Old business, right?
Next item is PZ 2532 SPA D&D Real Estate LLC D Saglio. A site plan application for the change of use from medical clinic to office building, property located at 56 Whitehall Avenue, Suite 1, Mystic, MBL 164-2-2/2. Property is located in the GC 60 zone.
Good evening. You just state your name, relationship to the applicant.
Can you use the mic, please?
Sure.
Okay, use the mic.
Make sure the green light is on.
It is. My apologies, I have a cold, so Dean might have to take over a little bit. He probably won't be able to understand me. I'm Donna Saglio. I am D&D Real Estate. This is my partner, the other D in D&D, Dean Saglio. He might have to speak for me.
Please
So-
take a seat.
Okay.
Is everybody familiar with the location there?
We are, in general, if you could just describe perhaps the change in use and the location for anyone who's present to see.
The main building is divided into 3 suites, and we're occupying the front suite as a real estate office. It's low traffic. Low impact. There's no shipping of product or anything like that. It's strictly office work.
Okay. Any questions of D&D Real Estate LLC or Ms. Saglia? Clifton, any comments?
No comments.
Clifton, if I may, just out of curiosity, unfortunately, my tablet froze here, so are there any stipulations that are recommended?
No, there are none.
If there are no questions, what's the commission's pleasure on the application of D&D Real Estate LLC?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the application of D&D Real Estate LLC as submitted with no stipulations.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Thank you both. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Chair abstains. Motion passes. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the time.
Thank you. Item 7E.
Next item,
It'd be F.
I'm sorry, yes, that's item 7E.
oh, that's discussed.
It's deferred to October 12th, 21st. Thank you.
Next item is PZ 2536 SPA Senior Living by Masonicare LLC, G. Gonzalez. Site plan application for the construction of an outdoor pavilion and associated site work. Property located at 45 Clara Drive, Mystic, M/B/L 172-2-5B. Property is located in the RM15 zone.
Good evening, gentlemen.
How are you? I'm Gary Gonzalez from Masonicare.
I'm Scott Hall from EGA Architects.
And Pete Parent, professional engineer at CHA.
Excuse me just one second. Can everyone hear in the audience?
No.
Hang on just 1 second. I'll try to make some changes in our audio program here. Again, I apologize. This is our first night in this facility, and
If you guys could just get really close into the mic when you're doing the presentation.
can you hear Clifton better when he's speaking? Yes. And you can hear me? Yes. My wife said she can hear me at home without a mic.
I'd try to start now, I think.
Okay, so again, right into the mic if you can't, just put it right in front of your face.
So, this is for a gazebo project on our property at 45 Clara Drive. It's a 35 by 60 gazebo with 2 bathrooms, freestanding
Kitchen?
an outdoor kitchen, yes, as well. Yes, better.
I think there was a comment from the committee that they wanted to, for us to address the drainage around the building, so I think he can address that.
Again, You have to get closer to the mic there.
Overall, when the site was originally developed, there was a building planned in the area where this gazebo was planned, and also a parking lot planned to the north. But even still, with the new rooftop impervious area, we're proposing a row of galleries. Those galleries are sized to retain the water quality volume from the roof prior to discharging into the overall site drainage system. And that overall site drainage system was sized to treat water quality volume and peak flows from the fully developed site. And the site, has less impervious area now than what was previously approved. So overall, from the stormwater standpoint, we're double treating and double attenuating from peak flow and water quality.
Okay, so it's actually a reduction in flow.
Right, so we're capturing the full water quality volume off the roof. So in small storms, this system won't discharge into the drainage system, and the drainage system is already designed for impervious area in this location.
Okay.
So there should be no impact.
Does that conclude your presentation?
Yes.
Okay, Clifton, any comments?
None. There are the stipulations in the packet.
Right, we've
Those
got
are
those.
pretty standard.
Any questions from the commission?
You want to shut yours off? Yeah. Just a quick question. We only get that little piece of the site plan. What's directly to the east there? What's like
So there's a retaining wall, and then there's a right-of-way where the utility lines come through, which is all wetlands.
Okay.
And then the Monsanto property is.
Okay, all right, so we don't need screening there?
No, I mean, so this retaining wall is probably about 10 feet tall. And
Okay.
Any other questions? Hearing none, what's the commission's pleasure with regard to senior living by Masonic Care for the gazebo facility?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the application of senior living by Masonic Care with the following 3 stipulations. Number 1, the applicant shall address outstanding comments to the satisfaction of the town planner and town engineer as applicable. Number 2, final plan shall be reviewed to the satisfaction of the town engineer and town planner. And number 3, final plan shall be signed by the commission and recorded in the town's land evidence records.
So a motion to approve with conditions?
Second.
And second, thank you both. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Anyone opposed? Chair abstains, motion passes. Thank you, gentlemen. Congratulations. Okay, now we move into the public hearing phase of the meeting. And the manner in which the public, all the same members of the commission will be seated as we're seated for the regular portion of the meeting. And the applicant will present his or her application with all of their technical information. When the application presentation is concluded, the commission will ask questions, staff will have their input, and when that portion of the meeting is complete, we will, during the public hearing, ask for anyone who wishes to speak for, against, or make a general statement to come forward, and we'll read your names from the list. So if you want to speak on this application, Stonebridge Senior Care, I would ask that you try to get your name on that list soon. We'll recognize people that aren't on the list, but it's just easier if you sign up. Again, during the public speaking portion, we ask that you try to keep your comments to 5 minutes in total. We have a lot of people that want to speak here this evening, and we want to make sure we hear from everyone. Again, as the way this public hearing process works, applicant makes his presentation, the public makes their comments for, against, or just general comments. The applicant gets an opportunity to rebut, and if the public wishes rebuttal time after that, they get it as well. So there are multiple opportunities to speak. Having said that, who is here to speak for Stonebridge Senior Care? We'll open up the public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to open the public hearing for PZ 2535 SUP Stone Ridge Senior Care LLC, J. Casey, special use permit application for the construction of a 4-story congregate living facility with associated site improvements. Property is located at 186 Jerry Brown Road, Mystic, M/B/L150-1-25. Property is located in the RA40 zone.
So a motion to open the public hearing, is there a second?
Second.
Made and seconded, thank you both. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Sir, the floor is yours.
It's actually me.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. If there was a microphone there, I'd be there. For the record, my name is John Casey. I'm a partner with the law firm of Robinson & Cole, and I have the honor of representing the applicant tonight, Stone Ridge Senior Care LLC. As was stated in the call of the meeting, we are here for a planned and needed final phase of Stone Ridge to meet the demand of senior housing, not only in our community, but in the state. This is a congregate living facility, so we are under your special use permit regulations, and we are modifying a previously approved special use for Stone Ridge that was originally approved in, actually, 25 years ago, almost, not quite to the day, but September 27th, 2000. As this commission is aware, earlier this year, there were amendments to the congregate facility regulations that we are taking advantage of in this application to propose the new building and the other changes to the site. Let me see. As a procedural matter, all our green cards, all our notices have been sent to staff. So we met our notice requirements. And then I will quickly just go through, we have a team of people here tonight. Everyone has a role to play. Everyone understands that we want to be succinct and to the point on the very important issues that we will be presenting to you. So we have, let me just quickly introduce Ted Bowles who's the project development manager for LCS Development. They're the parent of Stone Ridge. Pamela Klaproth is over there. She's the executive director of Stone Ridge here. She'll be speaking after me. We have our landscape architects, Mike Segan and Josh Egnatz from Richter and Segan. Mike will be speaking. Our architect, Omar Barrientos, and Aaron Hopman. Not to steal anyone's thunder, we were just at the ADRB last night. You'll hear about that. Our civil engineer is behind me, Seamus Moran, who will speak about our great civil engineering issues, and our traffic engineer, David Sullivan. And then I will wrap up at the end. So with that, and no further ado, I will turn it over to Pamela. We'll talk about the background, a little bit about Stone Ridge, and the reason for this application.
Good evening, everyone. Again, my name is Pamela Klaproth, and I'm the Executive Director at Stone Ridge. I wanted to share, for those that maybe aren't familiar with Stone Ridge, that we are a senior living community in Mystic, where we provide housing, lifestyle, and support services, as well as a full continuum of care. So that means we have independent living apartments, assisted living apartments, memory care, and a health center. Currently, we have approximately 330 independent living residents on our campus and about 52 residents in our healthcare areas. We are 21 years old. We had our 20th anniversary last year, and we are active member and supporter of Mystic and Stonington community. We sponsor and support local organizations, Mystic Seaport, Aquarium, other organizations. We're active with the Chamber, the Mystic Rotary, and United Way, and we enjoy participating in town events such as the Chowder Fest, St. Patrick's Day Parade, road race, etc. I'm very excited for this project. I think the addition of new units will enable us to serve more seniors, more residents in our community. We'll also have the opportunity to update and improve campus offerings that will benefit our current residents, and it will especially position Stone Ridge to better attract future residents and keep us in a financially strong position. As you may have heard just in local news media, of course, we have the baby boomers that are aging, so that means that we actually have a greater demand for senior housing and options. Mystic is becoming more and more a desired location for people to retire to and to live, and therefore our interest and demand in Stone Ridge continues to grow. We are currently at 98% occupied for our independent living apartments, and new deposits on apartments are made within 2 days of them becoming available. We have 72 waitlist deposits for our current apartments, and that list grows every day. Of the pre-sale deposits on the new building that we're proposing, we are currently 78% sold. We actually hit 70% in 21 days. They were expecting 4 months, but 21 days. Our new units are like our current ones, so the style and appearance is very similar. However, it does match what the current demand is with more 9-foot ceilings, open floor plans, updated finishes. So that will also meet our current residents and again, future resident preferences. Very importantly, we are going to, with the project, increase the number of assisted living apartments. That will provide that level of aging support to more residents. It will be a modern, dedicated, ground level location, which will enable our assisted living residents to have more ease of living with their own living area, dining, recreation, and gathering spaces. So not just the residents, but their families will also be much happier. We'll also be able to update and add new amenities and services based on what we heard and received from our current residents, as well as what we know future residents are looking for. And you can imagine with a building that's 21 years old, of course, things that get dated and need updates. So we, in wanting to enhance the lifestyle offerings and elevating the service delivery, dining, of course, is important for everybody. With the plan with the project is to upgrade our kitchen and add new dining venues to actually elevate the dining experience and offer more flexibility. Looking to add an outdoor grill station. As we know, I think especially since COVID, everyone really enjoys outdoor patio dining, and this will help to serve in that regard. Health and wellness hub is very important, so we are going to have state-of-the-art fitness equipment to help tracking progress and monitor residents' use of the equipment, exercise studio, modern medical offices, so physicians can come and actually have a more up-to-date space where they can see our residents. Adding, enlarging our art maker space so that we can have more art classes, quilters, crafts, and a permanent art gallery so residents can display their art. Wood shop, we have a very active wood shop group that creates this Nordic village every year. They put it out on our lawn. They will benefit from a large shop for projects and then also add area for wood crafts. Adding a card and game room so that those that like to play bridge and mahjong and all that will actually have more room to enjoy. And then a multi-purpose room to use in however and for whatever the residents want for whatever kind of gatherings. So I do want to say that this is the right time for this project. It's the right time to fulfill our master plan. It will satisfy pent-up demand for our community and help to serve seniors that are looking for our community such as ours. It will better serve the residents with increased number of assisted living apartments that will actually match what industry standards are setting for the environment for assisted living. We'll provide new and improved campus lifestyle offerings responding to our current residents and future resident expectations. And it will continue to position Stone Ridge as a top quality provider for senior housing and remain our competitive position in the senior living marketplace. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mike Segan with Richter and Segan. We are landscape architects on the project team. I will be giving a brief overview of the site design and landscape plan. Next, Josh. This is a site plan showing the rendered elements that are part of this application. If you notice, much of the 32-acre site is white, which is not rendered, which means much of the campus is not changing. The entrances, the circulation parking, and the building putty colored is the existing building. The proposed Phase 4 addition is in the terracotta color. This is the final piece that's part of the original master plan. This particular addition, the Phase 4 addition. There are 4 main components to this application. First and foremost is the addition itself. Again, shown in terracotta color. The related landscape treatment around the addition plus the site circulation and parking modifications. The second component is the relocation of the pickleball court at the corner of Pequot Sequence and Jerry Brown Road. The third component is what Ann talked about, is some of the amenities that have been added to the common area, and the fourth component is an expansion of the detention basin because of the increase in impervious surface. Next. Focusing on that addition, this is a landscape master plan that we did back in 2008 as phase 2 and 3 were under construction. The area shown in beige is that area where the proposed addition was anticipated. And that area right now is just a sloped lawn area. It slopes from right to left about one full story, which nicely we've fit the new building into that slope. Next. This is an aerial that shows the campus. Where the red star is where the proposed addition is going to be. It is well back in the campus. There's really no impact to Jerry Brown or Pequot Cephas Road or the surrounding neighbors. It's over 650 feet back from Jerry Brown and behind a bunch of buildings. And it's about 500 and some feet back from Pequot Cephas and behind some of the neighborhood homes. There's a very established buffer along the property line with the Pequot Cephas neighbors. It was first established in the original construction and then reestablished when phase 3, the building 6000 was put in. Very quickly, one of the neighbors in this area was really concerned about seeing that phase 3 addition. We beefed up the buffer in this area. It was installed, the building was built, and she called and asked that the buffer some of it be removed because the architecture was so attractive. She wanted to look at the architecture. So it's the first time it's happened on one of my projects. Next. This is an enlargement of the addition. It's 4 stories over a parking garage. It's 4 stories of assisted and independent living. Again, over a parking garage that's mostly buried. You can see the proposed landscape is pretty extensive around this building. A lot of attention to adding large-scale canopy trees to bring down and soften and scale down the 4-story building, and also be consistent with the high-quality landscape that's throughout the campus itself. Next. This is a section that we use to help us with the text amendment and shows how the building is tucked into the hillside. I don't know if you can move in a little bit, John, close up, but you can see the existing grade goes from right to left and there's about a 10-foot change in elevation. That parking garage in that very lowest level is set into the slope. There's 4 stories above that. From the east side, the parking garage is completely buried. From the west side or the left side, there's a retaining wall there that provides an outdoor area for assisted living, garden area, terrace, which basically covers up that particular area. You can also see how the large-scale planting starts to come into play here too. Next. This is actually an actual elevation of a 4-story building that's on the west side of building 6000 and where 6 and 5000 join. This is exactly our elevation on both sides of the building, matching the existing and the architecture Omar is going to discuss shortly. One thing I want to point out again is throughout the campus over the years, both in the original design and you're going to see especially in this one, we've incorporated a lot of large-scale landscaping and shade trees, canopy trees to help with the scale of the 4-story buildings. Next. And this really illustrates that the larger scale canopy trees are shown colored from London plane trees to the native red maple to green bay Selkova, LA elm, and all these trees will get about 60 feet tall. The photograph in the lower left-hand corner is a red maple that we planted as part of phase 3. It's already 35 feet tall, so you can see how quickly this plant material grows up and is situated around the building. There's also, there's basically 3 layers of plantings between the addition 6,000, or I'm sorry, the existing building 6,000 and our proposed addition that's parallel with that. The first layer involves existing trees, that red maple that we just pointed to, and there's a mature cat tree in the Japanese garden that we had designed as part of the 5,000 building. And then there's a line of canopy trees that are on either side of their carports or garages that are going to remain. Some additional trees on the corners of the building, again, that will get 60 feet tall over time. Then there's a third layer that's above the retaining wall on the, again, west side of the building with both a hedge and arborvitae in it that'll provide an evergreen lower level planting, and then right up against the building, a fourth layer of flowering trees that'll get up to 30 feet tall against the building. So you have this series of layers and buffering and softening that bring down the scale of the building, and that are also situated around the building. Next. The second area is the relocation of the pickleball court in the corner by Jerry Brown and Pequot Cypress Road. Next. This is a view of that corner from as you approach Stone Ridge. Basically, the plant material there totally screen out the building and parking that's beyond. And we need to duplicate the same effect when we install the pickleball court with the proposed evergreen planting that we're proposing here. If you notice, the lower branches of these trees have been are starting to be pruned up, and you're starting to see parking underneath them. We will eliminate that issue with the new planting that goes in here as well. Next. And this is an enlargement of that area. You can see a very dense evergreen screen that's on the outside, consisting of fastigia, pine, and green giant arborvitae that will very quickly fill in and screen and fill that screen back in. The pickleball court is located in this corner because there's a synergy with other major amenities here on the campus. There's also the community garden in this area, as well as the dog park. So now you have three sort of attractions and amenities kind of working together. Next. The third area that was discussed briefly is the amenities added to the commons area. Next. Enlargement of this area shows there's a small addition off the commons. We're expanding patio. There's an outdoor dining area that's being added. Again, patio and the fire pit that's out there being relocated, and some other amenities added. And then the fire lane is being moved just a little bit back to allow these additional amenities to be incorporated. Next. And these just show some of the detail around the campus, the benches, the tables and chairs that are out on that patio that will be either relocated or duplicated in some of these new expanded areas, including the concrete pavers that will be expanded out there and used on some of the other new terraces off the assisted living facility. And the fencing that'll have to be relocated for the dog park, the white picket fence that'll be matched. Next. And this just shows the existing pickleball court that will be relocated out into the corner, and these benches will also be relocated along with that change. Next. And then the final area is just the extension of the storm drainage system out far away and not visible from the campus or anywhere really. Next. The enlargement of that area shows that all the plantings back here will be native meadow, will be planted along with native shrubs, all wildlife and pollinator attracting kind of plants to restore and stabilize this area. Next. And then finally, the site lighting plan, the changes on the campus, primarily showing the locations of either relocated or new lighting. We're matching the existing campus fixture, which is a 15-foot high, full cutoff, like sky compliant LED fixture. And the photometrics that have been supplied to the town show that there is no light spillage or trespass on the neighboring properties. And then there's a lower bollard light that's used in some of the outdoor spaces. Next. So that concludes my quick overview. We meet all the requirements in terms of the congregate facility in town, in the regulations, especially as they were modified in the text amendment. The amount of parking that we're adding, we are required by the addition to, in the parking regulation, to add 66 spaces. We are adding 88 spaces. Of those 88, 58 will be in the parking garage below the building, below the addition. And there'll be 30 that will be surface spaces added on the campus. In terms of just really quickly, staff comments, fire marshal, we met with fire marshal, had good meeting, incorporated and worked with him actually on his comments, and we'll be able to meet all his various comments as well, especially if they're made a condition of approval. They're all minor and no issues. And I just wanted to comment on the planner's comments. There were two. One that relates to internal traffic circulation, emergency access vehicles, and we've met with Clifton to show him that we've run those radiuses and worked those through with the fire marshal as well, so we're good there. And we'll supply the setbacks for the pickleball court on the drawing. Again, that concludes my presentation. I'm just going to turn it over to Seamus on the civil engineering.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me? It's good. Thank you for having me tonight. My name is Seamus Moran, AP in Connecticut, working for H&H Engineering Associates, and I'm representing the applicant for their drainage, stormwater, and utility component of the project. So I will have very similar slides to the landscape architect plans. I'm going to start by discussing some of the stormwater management, and then I'll get into some micro-level drainage structures, drainage catch basins, piping, utilities, and soil erosion sediment control, but I'll keep that brief. I don't think we care that much about that stuff. But in terms of the stormwater management, the plan that you see before you, it's tough to read at this scale, but generally speaking, the original plan from 2000 included development for phases 1, 2, and 3. The stormwater management system included a basin that was designed to accommodate up to this phase of development. With this new phase of development, we had to increase the size of the basin because we're increasing impervious coverage and development area within the developable area. So to accommodate that, what we had to do was evaluate the water getting to the site right now, pre-existing, figure out what the increase of impervious is, and design the stormwater management basin, which is in the back left corner of the plan, to increase the size of that basin to accommodate the additional flows. As of right now, the existing kind of building site, the buildings, the parking area, the walkways, it's about 17 acres of development. 13.6 acres within that footprint currently drain to the basin, and we are increasing the impervious by 2 acres within that 13.6 acres. So the basin that you'll see got a little bit larger and it bumped out, and that was just to accommodate the additional flow. That additional runoff that we generated was evaluated based on current standards, not the 2000 standards. That was current rainfall data, water quality volume of 1.3 inches. So that additional flow is all based on current standards, and everything that was designed and approved previously was, of course, by the original 2000 standards. Next slide, please. So this is a zoom in, of course, of just the new building area. And what you see here in the dark lines connecting catch basins is obviously catch basins and piping between those. All of those are either new or relocated structures from the relocated parking areas. But there's not, all of those are collected and they all connect into the existing catchment system behind building 6000, which is the very faint building on the left-hand side of the new building. And all of the drainage structures connected to the existing system behind building 6000 and run out to the existing basin. Next slide, please. Up in the pickleball court area, there's only a few new parking spaces, and those all drain towards the gutter line where there's existing catch basins. So we're not adding any new catch basins, we're not changing piping in this area. So everything that's there right now will just be captured by the existing catchment system. Next slide, please. And up near the new building, all we have to do here is relocate. There's an existing drainage line that runs under the building. We have to relocate a portion of that just around the new addition. We're not proposing any additional catch basin structures. There are structures out there right now for the existing improvements back there, so we're just relocating those. Next slide, please. This is the stormwater management basin that we spoke of. The left side, so the west side of the basin is just being pushed out. As you can see, there's new contours showing on that western side, just to add extra volume for the additional stormwater flows. With the expanded basin, we're actually reducing the peak rates, whether it was comparing it to the pre-existing or the pre-approved, or both. We're reducing the peak rates for the 1 through the 100-year storm event. And the water surface elevations in the basin actually get lower for the 1 through the 100-year storm events as well. So we're able to store more water, we're reducing, we're discharging less water as well, but all kind of within the realm of, we don't want to starve the wetlands, but we also don't want to flood the wetlands. So we're just below everything that was either pre-existing or previously approved. Next slide, please. This is a blow-up of the soil erosion sediment control plan and utilities plan. On the west side of building 6000, so the very west side of this page, there's a new sanitary sewer line shown. That connects into the end of a sanitary manhole for building 6000. There was an extension that was already planned coming from that manhole, so there is currently a line that's just a stub heading in our direction. So the plan is just to extend the sanitary sewer line around building 6000, around the south side of our new building, and then with a new outlet of sanitary sewer from the garage level on the east side of our building. These soil erosion sediment control measures you see here there's a construction entrance at on the eastern side of this page, at the edge of the saw cut line of the new pavement. Temporary soil stockpile areas, silt sacks in all of the catch basins, and then temporary silt socks along the downgraded limits of improvements. Next slide, please. Here, all it just shows is the minor soil erosion sediment control measures that we need, silt sacks and silt fence along the downgrading limits. Next slide, please. Similar, we show a temporary soil stockpile area. And you can see off to the very western side of this page is the new construction entrance going down the hill from the existing drive, and that's just to access there's an existing path that's already there to access the basin for maintenance purposes and from when they originally constructed the basin. So the construction entrance is just there just to prevent any mud from getting onto the road surface. So that's a construction entrance to get to the pathway that you can see on the next sheet, which is the stormwater management basin. Next, please. So this page just shows the temporary soil stockpile area and the silt fence associated with the new basin modifications. In terms of water, The fire protection engineer has already done some fire flow tests on the pumps in the buildings. Right now, it's understood that the existing system is going to connect to the new building fire protection system, and those pumps are suitable for the fire protection system in the new building. And same with the existing water service into the building. The plan is just to connect the water service from the existing commons building into the new proposed building. And I think last but not least, the electrical service. We just work with Eversource. There's a lot of things moving on this property for electrical and a lot of line work. So we just have to work closely with Eversource to locate where the transformer will go and where that entry, where that new primary service will go into the new building. And just lastly, on the sanitary sewer, I mean, there's a moratorium in place currently that doesn't allow us to tap in right now. If we were to be ready to connect at this moment, there's a moratorium in place that says we cannot do that. Even though the original plan that was approved in 2000 was approved for, what was it, 37,050 gallons per day of flow. The current demand is, the current usage is 28,426, and the projected flows are 34,550. So it's actually a reduction of 2,500 gallons per day projected over what was previously approved. Of course, even with the moratorium in place, because of the inflow and the infiltration into the existing sanitary system, there's the moratorium in place. Our correspondence dating back to 1 year ago was that there's a design being worked on to wrap the existing sanitary sewer mains to prevent any of the inflow and the infiltration into that sanitary sewer system. Our understanding is that it was supposed to start in spring. It has been delayed, but there is a plan in place to wrap that to prevent inflow and infiltration, and we don't see that moratorium lasting until, you know, the CL phase of this. There's a much longer duration for construction for this. So our hope is that the moratorium will be lifted by the time that comes to fruition. Oh, sure, I'm sorry. The town engineer, Mr. Trinkus, reviewed the plans for us, provided us a letter. We responded on Monday afternoon with a response to the comments and revised plans, and this morning Mr. Trinkus provided a letter back to us saying he reviewed everything. Everything's been addressed. The only thing that remains outstanding that can be handled as a condition of approval is the within the garage structure itself. We're just going to have to add, we're going to have to coordinate with our design team to add some drains and connect into the existing manhole on the west side of the building. There's plenty of pitch, it just wasn't, we weren't able to coordinate that before submission, and he said that's the only outstanding comment, and that's very minor. I think with that, I'll pass it off to Mr. Dave Sullivan for the traffic.
Thank you. Thank you again. My name is David Sullivan. I'm with SLR Consulting, professional engineer, and I run the mobility and transportation planning group for SLR. We were asked to conduct a traffic impact study for the new phase of the facility. The study included an existing conditions review. We did traffic counts for morning and afternoon peak periods. We did field reconnaissance to look at the existing driveways. We made projections of what the traffic generation would be. We then evaluated future conditions with and without the additional traffic to determine if there would be any impact. And we also conducted a safety analysis, including review of the latest 5 years of crash data at the driveways. There's 2 driveways, as I'm sure everyone knows. The driveway on Pequot Seapost has a no right turn sign on it. Nonetheless, you need sight lines in both directions for the left turns. You need 280 feet in this particular case, and you make the requirements of 280 feet of visibility. Along Jerry Brown Road, the posted speed limit is 35, so that would lead you to longer sight lines required, 390 feet in this case, and the sight lines are adequate at that driveway as well. We did review the crash data. For the most part, it was unremarkable, so to speak, nothing in terms of the frequency or type of accidents that would cause us any concern. There was a fatality out there. It was not a fatality associated with vehicular geometry or anything like that. Essentially, a pedestrian was hit by a snowplow, just happened to be in the vicinity of the driveway on Jerry Brown Road. The traffic volumes, as I mentioned, we counted both morning and afternoon peak periods, and then we extract the highest peak hour, 1 hour out of that 2-hour count period. We then estimate the amount of traffic that would be generated and added to those existing counts in the driveways. In this particular case, we used a document, the Institute of Transportation Engineers trip generation publication, and we used a category for adult senior housing for all of the new units. There's a total of 69 units, I believe, total. And we use that category because it's a little bit higher, certainly, than the assisted living units would generate. And it's very similar to what the independent living units, the adult housing units would generate. We found in the morning peak hour, there'd be a total of 13 new car trips. That's in and out and at both driveways. And in the afternoon peak hour, that would be 17. These numbers are low, and we would expect them to be low. This is not a high traffic generating type of use, as you might imagine. We then did the analysis. We look at the level of service, letter grades, A being the best, F being failing levels of service, and we look to see if there's any change in those operating conditions. And we found that there was no change, and we have level of service A's and B's for all of the movements at both of the driveways. In terms of safety, I mentioned about the sight lines, and the geometry of the driveways is adequate for vehicles to safely enter and exit. So that's a summary of the report, and I think I'm sending it over to Omar next.
Hi, Omar Barrientos, SB&A Architects. I'll be brief. This first slide here is the existing building, 4-story, and the architecture. Next slide, please. And this is facing the new entry into the assisted living. But the architecture continues the existing architecture that was set up for Stonebridge originally, and it drew upon the existing vernacular. Really most reminiscent to the federal style, with some borrowing of Queen Anne and shingle style. Next slide, please. This slide shows the carports here in the front, which are existing, and then our new building, building 7000, with the retaining wall in front of it. Next slide, please. And this is the opposite side, also the assisted living side. And again, we have the rotundas that is a particular trademark for the architecture of Stonebridge. Next. Is that it? Okay. Yeah, that's basically it. I'll be very brief. We basically continued the architecture. The building matches rhythm, pattern, style, materials, pretty much emulate everything about the existing architecture and continues it seamlessly.
Hi, I'm Aaron Hellman, also from SB&A Architects. I would like to just add a comment that yesterday we had the Architectural Review Board overview of this project, where we showed them this material and discussed the architecture. We had a unanimous decision to approve and no conditions put on the project, and they commended the existing architecture and the continuation of that, of Stone Ridge, as well as the integration of landscape, which Michael presented earlier. Thank you.
So that concludes our substantive presentation by our experts. Just a few points.
procedure I'll go through. So we are asking for waivers, 3 different waivers: archaeological study, since this is already a developed site, a scaled 3-dimensional model. We believe the renderings provide a great view of what this is going to look like. Plus, you can actually just go see the existing buildings, and they're going to look pretty much just like those. And a waiver from the school impact evaluation report for obvious reasons. Mike touched briefly on the compliance with the congregate living facility requirements. I'll just note that it does comply with all the requirements in section 5.3.7 regarding bulk requirements, outdoor recreation space, the number of dwelling units were below the maximum allowed numbers. Parking, we have actually more parking than is required. And that's something I think Pam and Ted, appreciate with their residents, and having sufficient parking is part of the amenity they want to provide. Utilities, you heard from Seamus. Sidewalks, you can see there's sidewalks throughout the grounds, allowing safe pedestrian pathways from the different areas. And I won't at this time, but if it becomes an issue, I can go through the standards for granting a special use permit. Maybe I'll just say very generally, section 15.27 has some standards for you to consider, and we feel they fulfill all those. There's adequate water supply, sanitary facilities, protection from fire, safety, security equipment designed to eliminate hazards. You heard from Dave, transportation services. There's no undue traffic generation that will cause any bad effects to local communities. It will not create or any dangerous or objectionable elements to area residents. No adverse effects on district property values, historic features, prosperity, or public health, safety, or welfare. Those are your general special use permit standards. We feel that this is a phase fitting into an existing, well-run, well-received, how should I say, it's sort of become a cornerstone of the community. I mean, people talk about it. My friends talk about their parents going there. It has a great reputation. We're not trying to change it. We're just trying to make it better, make it available to more people, keep the same style that has gotten lots of great reviews over the years. And with that, we feel it meets the standards for granting a special use permit. And with that, we would ask you to approve the permit. If there's any comments, we'll all stay here, obviously, and respond to any public comments that come up. So thank you.
Thank you. Any questions of the applicant or their representatives?
Mr. Chairman, I do have one question, just out of curiosity. You did mention, sir, that there's the moratorium on the sewer connections, and you mentioned that your construction is sort of downrange, so you would anticipate that you would not end up constructing and still be facing the moratorium. Can you tell me how long you're thinking that would be?
I will pass that off to Omar in a moment, but the civil components of the design is further along the building components of the design. We still have several months of hatching that out, some of the building components. So even before we can submit a building permit, we're several months away, and then the construction timeline is much longer than that as well. I'll pass it over to Omar now, who can probably answer those two comments.
There's a preliminary schedule, but it could be anywhere from, it's probably more like 18 months. Once construction starts, and construction's not going to start for, we haven't, that hasn't been quite scheduled yet either, so.
Okay, so it is really downrange.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Just one other point to bring up on that. I am on the sewer commission, And, excuse me, the town is actively engaged in probably the largest inflow and infiltration removal project they've ever undertaken. And it's anticipated that a lot of clean water is getting into the sewer and affecting the capacity of both the plants and the collection system. So it's envisioned that the capacity will be made available when that project's completed. And it was delayed not by the town, but by regulatory agencies that have to review it. And it's now been cleared, to move forward, and it's anticipated that it will free up a lot of capacity in the system.
Good to hear. Thank you.
Any other questions? Sorry, any other questions of the applicant's attorney or representatives? I have one. Looking at the contour lines on the detention basin, and what is the maximum depth of impoundment in the detention basin from the lowest elevation to the maximum headwater?
The maximum water surface elevation, that's the 100-year storm event?
Well, I guess that's the largest one.
Yes, that's, so the 100-year, hold on one second, I'll have to pull up a different sheet, 1 second, sorry.
Approximate numbers are fine.
Yeah, I could, let me not pull it.
I'm looking at all these contour lines, and it gets a little scary as to how deep it might possibly be.
The maximum water surface, maximum 100-year water surface elevation is 28.05 for the 100-year storm event. If you can zoom in on this, I think the lowest contour is 21. There's a tiny 20 contour, but the majority of the basin, I believe, is at 21. So it's 7 feet for the 100-year storm event.
Is there any fence around the detention basin?
There's not a fence around the detention basin.
Okay.
I should point out that 100-year storm event, of course, is very infrequent, but they also, the design is super conservative, and they didn't take into account any infiltration. The basin is not lined, but the original design did not take into account infiltration, so there is some infiltration in the basin, of course. So I think that is a
infiltration or exfiltration?
Well, it's a good question. It's exfiltration, but nobody usually says infiltration. Nobody usually uses that word. So they did not.
Infiltration wouldn't help you.
Correct. So they did not take into account any exfiltration in the basin. So I think that number is actually very conservative on top of the already conservative HydroCAD modeling. But I don't believe it's going to be that high. But to your point, the number says it's 7 feet deep at the 100-year storm event.
I mean, that's a deep basin, and I do have not huge concerns because there's no real underage population on the site, but I do have some concerns that we create a temporary body of water that deep, and there's no impediment to someone, getting into it inadvertently. So, just something to think about it. I don't know if anybody else has any thoughts on that.
No, I agree with you, Mr. Chairman. I think perhaps would it be something you would be considering putting some kind of fencing or barrier, even small, around it?
I'm sure we can talk to the team about that. There is a walking path around it that I'm sure we can keep the fence not down the center of, but that's something we could talk with the team. I think that makes sense.
Okay. Maybe some kind of gateway system or something that doesn't necessarily, it's not circumferential around the entire thing, but would keep younger population on the site from wandering down that trail, because it is very remote, and if someone got into it, it could be disastrous if there was even 4 feet of water in it and it was a young child. Any other questions of the applicant's attorney or his representative?
No, good set of plans.
Clifton, any comments?
Only a couple minor comments that were kind of half mentioned. As of last week, the project was approved through the Board of Police Commissioners. So that was approved by the time I wrote the report. And then Aaron did mention about the ADRB approval last night, so it's met those 2 requirements. New plan set was submitted today, correct, Seamus? Which means that because we just opened the public hearing tonight, we are required to keep it open to allow adequate time for the plan set to be reviewed by the public. So no matter, any decisions that need to be made tonight, the recommendation is obviously going to be to continue the public hearing to the next regular meeting. And we can go from there, but no additional comments on my end.
Understood. There are no other questions of the applicant's attorney or representatives. Should we move to public comment? Can we get the list, please? Alrighty. So, let's see.
Let's start from the top end.
Please, yeah, I'll get your opinion.
No, that's the name.
That's the name, okay, yeah. Okay, fine.
They had set up in the right spot, so you start here.
Oh, okay. Oh, so
They were supposed to sign out here, they didn't,
So the list starts here and goes all the way.
Yep.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So the first person we have signed up is Ralph Wood. And again, I would remind you, we have another large application to hear after this. So if you could please abbreviate your comments, and we're anxious to hear what you have to say. We'd accept any kind of statement you have in writing. And the application is going to remain open. So if you feel you are cut short, you have time to submit a more detailed explanation in writing. So with that, Ralph, please proceed.
Does this work okay? Thank you. Good evening, Commission members. My name is Ralph Wood. I'm chairman of the Stone Ridge Residents Council that is elected to represent our fellow residents. Our council operates on the principle of consensus. However, there is not yet consensus among the residents about the proposed Phase 4 expansion plan submitted for your approval. You may know that seniors dislike change, but we can and do change. It just takes us a little longer. Therefore, tonight I will speak for myself as a 6-year resident of Stone Ridge, a place and its people that I deeply cherish. I endorse the plan. In the owner's words, it is a strategic investment in Stone Ridge's future to assure that we remain competitive in the present competitive landscape and are able to serve current and future residents with excellence. To understand the competition, one has to look no further than the Vista Point Senior Living Project in neighboring Groton. This development promises glitzy amenities, full-service healthcare, spectacular views of the Thames River, under-building parking, and a price structure similar to Stone Ridge's. It is also on a development schedule equivalent to that of Stone Ridge's Phase 4 expansion. If Stone Ridge loses prospective residents to its competitors, our future will become uncertain. Despite many positive benefits to the owner and residents, the Phase 4 plan has 2 issues that shouldn't be ignored. The first is that it could exacerbate an already congested parking situation, even when parking spaces under the new building are counted. During a recent update with all residents, the owner's vice president of operations stated that they recognize the parking issues and will take responsibility for resolving them. As evidence, he highlighted initiatives for hiring a firm that specializes in parking plan design, rebuilding 2 covered parking sheds that are scheduled to be sacrificed to the new building, negotiating off-site parking for employees, and adding a staff member to be a parking valet to help residents. Second, the size, both the height and the footprint of the proposed new building has caused anxiety among residents of buildings 5,000 and 6,000 whose apartments face it. They're concerned about the potential for loss of view, sunshine, and privacy. If in fact these concerns are found to be valid after the building is constructed, the owner has consented to discussing considerations for the most affected residents. I fully expect that the Residents' Council will support these affected residents in their discussions with the owner and administration as the construction progresses. Thank you.
Well done, Ralph. Thank you. Patrick Courtier, I think, maybe? Is that it? Sorry about that.
Very close.
Okay.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Patrick Cartier.
I'm the administrator at Stone Ridge, and I oversee all the different health service areas. And I just wanted to share on behalf of myself and Linda Hart, who was our nurse navigator at Stone Ridge. We're partners together in leading and supporting our assisted living. And I just wanted to share a few points about the assisted living component about this expansion. A lot of the points that I'm going to share involve moving the assisted living, which is currently on our top floor of one of our buildings, which makes things a little bit difficult for our assisted living residents. Moving the AL down to ground level has a lot of benefits. So I just wanted to highlight a few that Linda and I came up with together. So aging in place is a big one in a continuum of care. So residents can remain in the same community as their care needs evolve without having to relocate elsewhere. Expanding assisted living capacity on the first level, ground floor, ensures that more independent living residents can smoothly transition when additional support is needed. Also, it helps to reduce stress and disruption for seniors and for their families. Having assisted living on the first floor removes challenges of them having to relocate all the way to a top floor, which is the challenge that we currently face. So that's another large benefit. Also, too, I want to point out, it helps to promote safety and health, and here's a few reasons why. Providing 24/7 care and supervision for residents who need assistance, with easier access to clinical and support staff when all AL rooms are on the ground level. Also, having it on the ground level reduces risks associated with residents who face isolation or falls and medication mismanagement. By being on the first level, this placement helps to minimize hazards from stairwells or elevators and allows staff to monitor residents much more efficiently. Also, want to point out that it will help strengthen family support. Families have peace of mind knowing that their loved ones are in a safe and caring environment with services close at hand. Having assisted living rooms on the ground level makes it easier for families, especially during challenging times or with older spouses, to visit without navigating up a flight of stairs or up the elevators. Also, it encourages family involvement without the burden of full-time caregiving. With assisted living expansion, because this proposal, it would expand our current assisted living, which is only 6 rooms, to 14. So this expansion is beneficial for us because we're proposing adding some more independent living. So we feel that the expansion is kind of checking off all the boxes as we are looking to grow. But not just from that standpoint, also with regards to aging in place and safety and health and wellness, which I'm tasked to make sure that we are always keeping that at the forefront. So just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Okay. Not necessarily my reading ability here, folks, but the printing on this list is, it could use some improvement. Donna Saglio, I hope I got that right. Probably, what do you think that is?
Yeah, exactly.
Saglio?
I think you had it right. She left.
Said she left, yeah.
Okay, no one here. We'll move on. Ted Bowles.
I need to get reading everything, Chairman, I'm good.
Okay. Charles Schott. Sorry, sir, on the pronunciation there. Evening.
Charlie Schott, I'll be brief. My wife and I are in our 8th year at Stone Ridge. I was a former chair of the council. I strongly support this. This is a win-win agreement. It'll put Stone Ridge in a much stronger financial position now that they own the property, which is a very plus for us. Plus, you saw all of the great amendments and improvements that are going to be available for the residents. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Truss. Lori Shaw?
I'll pass.
Okay, thank you. SP Sowers? Evening, sir.
Maybe. Yeah. Ed Sowers, I didn't print that very good, did I?
Okay.
Anyways, been a resident of Stone Ridge since 2019. It's a wonderful community. I am in favor of this expansion because we have to keep pace with the growth in our community. A lot of new people want to come to Stone Ridge, and if we can't offer a place for them, they're going to go somewhere else, and we'd like to keep them here. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Jamie Cornell? Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you. I just wanted to share, I'm Jamie Cornell. I'm the Director of Marketing and Sales at Stone Ridge. And the team and I, we've just seen tremendous growth, as Pamela mentioned in her introduction. But currently today, we could fill 72 apartments with our existing wait list. And we've already sold 42 of the 54 new apartments. So we definitely see the demand and the need and look forward to welcoming new residents to our community. So thank you.
Thank you for the thoughtful comments, Jamie. Matt Howe?
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine.
I'm Matthew Out. I'm the culinary director at Stone Ridge and have been for 21 years, ever since it opened. I am totally for the project. The amount of new dining venues, the total re-gutting and re-changing, updating of the current kitchen, which is 22 years old and really needs the work. It's going to make our work more efficient. It's going to help congestion in the current dining venues. Most of the new cooking equipment that's coming on board is induction cooking, which is much safer, much better to cook with, and also greener. It's going to give my ability to provide more variety, more excitement in my dining venues. It will provide an independent assisted living kitchen and dining area as well, which is currently not in existence. So the quality of their food and life is also going to go up, and it's just going to be magical. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful project, and I'm 100% behind it. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Michael Langley?
Hi, good evening. Thank you for your time tonight. My name is Michael Langlois. I'm the Director of Community Life at Stone Ridge, a role that I've held for 11 years. And I would like to speak strongly in favor of the project. As Stone Ridge grows, I see that this project will continue to enhance the lives of our residents through upgrading exercise and wellness spaces to accommodate growth and increasing class sizes, all of which will help our residents remain physically strong and keep up with current trends. Our new and enhanced art and maker spaces, again, will accommodate increasing class sizes, allowing our residents to live their fullest and most expressive lives. We will also have new meeting rooms and multi-purpose rooms, allowing residents to keep the sense of community and togetherness, which is valued throughout our community. All of these are responsive to our residents' needs and desires. I believe that this project will help our residents remain healthy in mind, body, and spirit. And again, I'm in favor of the project. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Michael. Tina Lessing? Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tina Lessing, and I am the Director of Resident Services at Stone Ridge. I have been employed with Stone Ridge for just short of 15 years. I am here to offer words of support for the campus development expansion at Stone Ridge. But first, wish to acknowledge all Stone Ridge residents here this evening in support of our community, as we are one community with mutual and unwavering respect for one another. Thank you to all residents for being here. As I mentioned, I have had the pleasure of working at Stonebridge for several years, and I've seen the community through various changes, including all phases of the COVID pandemic. We continually remain one cohesive community. I support this project as I know the enhanced common areas as a result of the project will offer residents new, larger, more effective spaces to live their best lives. Residents should reap the benefits of our financially sound community and will do so with all the added amenity and venue spaces. Without the additions, we risk becoming stagnant and risk falling behind while other local communities show and operate better. We should move forward and fully realize the full campus plan, keeping our community bright and not only in appearance, but with updated spaces for our multi-talented residents to enjoy in their community home. Thank you for your time, and most especially, thank you Stonebridge residents for representing your home. Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. Okay, I'm sorry about this in advance, but another writing exercise here. Dean Sagnia, maybe? Okay. Tim Wood.
Good evening. Thank you for letting me speak today. Vice President of LCS. I'm here in support of the project. We actually had a resident update meeting, a conversation with the Stonebridge residents today, and a question was asked, was this in direct response to resident feedback that was facilitated in early 2024? And the answer is resounding yes. So this was in response into a highly occupied community where we wanted to deliver on the full continuum of care and deliver on the original master plan of the community. So I'm very in support of this project and want to see it move forward. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Janet. Chris, maybe? Janet? And Frank Taylor. Okay. All right, so that's the entire list. Would anyone else like to make a comment either in favor, against, or a general comment on this application that perhaps didn't sign the list? I'll ask one more time. Any further comment? Yes, sir. Please step forward, state your name for the record and address. Take your time. Should be able to use the microphone okay then? Maybe you could help them a little bit with the microphone.
Sorry, I'm suffer from Parkinson's, so my voice is kind of limited.
You don't have to apologize, sir.
All these testimonies in favor are clearly orchestrated in advance, whereas those who have objections to this program were not notified that we needed to register. So I'm glad that there'll be another meeting later.
There will be, this will be extended. There will be an adjustment at our next regular meeting, which is when, Clifton?
October 21st.
And will it be here again?
Correct.
Okay, so on October 21st at 7 p.m., there'll be another meeting, another opportunity to speak.
Okay, I would just like to point out that there are severe parking problems. Parking right now is saturated, and the addition of 58 underground parking spaces with 54 new apartments will not accommodate all the new ones, because a lot of residents come with 2 cars. And in addition, Um, There are 35 spaces being eliminated by the plans as they currently stand. And plus there will be more visitors and more staff involved in helping the assisted living people. So the parking has been a contention all along. There's yet to be a full plan presented for that. And the other issue is the large extent of the building, which much exceeds both in footprint and height, the original plans dating back to 2000, I guess. So with the new building, it'll have 2 floors higher than any surrounding buildings. And that with very restricted sunlight and views available to people on the east side of buildings 5 and 6. So both of those things have been adequately represented tonight.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else wish to speak either in favor? You'll be given an opportunity.
No, I don't know that we got that gentleman's name.
Maybe you can get it from him to make it easier on him.
You could just tell him.
Donald Forsythe?
Donald Forsythe.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Donald. Anyone else wish to speak either in favor, against, or make a general comment? Hearing none, does the applicant desire rebuttal time?
Mr. Chairman, with the understanding we'll be back in a month, and given the hour, and I understand you have another application, we will save our comments for October.
Very gracious of you to consider that. Thank you, Council. So, do we need a motion to continue this public hearing?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to continue the public hearing for PZ 253 SUP Stonebridge Senior Care. Pardon me. Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to continue the public hearing for PZ 2535 SUP Stonebridge Senior Care till the next scheduled meeting on October 21st.
Motion to continue by Ryan. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you both. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The public hearing is continued. Again, for anyone present, this will come up again in this very room, October 21st at 7 p.m. Thank you. Thank you all. I'm going to take a brief break. And we're going to adjourn here for perhaps 5 minutes and reconvene at 8:47.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to come back into session from our adjournment.
Motion to come back for seconded? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes. Meeting is back in session at 8:49. Okay, so this, essentially the same rules apply here. This is our second public hearing. At the conclusion of this, the meeting will be concluded. I should point out now that this item will also be continued to the next meeting, and I'll make some comments as we go into the public comment period on additional ground rules. So with that in mind, motion to open the public hearing.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to open the public hearing for PZ 2534 SPA and GPP Fair Housing of Connecticut, LLC, M. Ranelli. Site plan application and groundwater protection permit applications for an affordable housing project submitted pursuant to CGS 8-30G. Proposal consists of 83 single-family housing units and associated site improvements. Properties located at 207, 215, and an unaddressed parcel on Liberty Street, Pawcatuck, M/B/L 16, Block 4, Lots 12, 12A, 13, and 14. Property is located in the LS5 zone.
Thank you, Ryan. So there's a motion made. Is there a second to open the public hearing?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Public hearing is open. I see we have Attorney Matt Rinaldi present.
Yes. Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission. My name is Matt Rinelli. I'm with the law firm of Shipman and Goodwin, and I'm here on behalf of Fair Housing of Connecticut, LLC.
Evening.
Good evening, and thank you. We're here tonight to talk to you about another important housing need that the town has for housing that is affordable and within reach of people earning, in the regular workforce, earning near and below median income, as well as additional market rate housing. We have been before you before. We have some important modifications that we've made to our plan based on comments and input we received the last time we were here before you, and we're excited to present those to you. I'd like to start off by introducing our team that you're going to hear from. We have additional folks here as well in case there are questions. I want to introduce our basic team. We have the principal of Fair Housing LLC, Gene Arganese, who's at the table to my right. We have our engineer, Sergio Chirenzia, who you're familiar with, who will talk to you about the engineering. We have our architect, Raz Cifolelli, who is also to my right, our landscape architect, Josh Wheeler, to my left, and our traffic engineer, Michael Dion, who's also to my left. Just a couple of words about our application. This is application is before the commission pursuant to the provisions of 8-30G of the general statutes. And I know you are familiar with that statute from our last presentation, so I won't go into it, but in essence, it requires the commission to do consider slightly different factors than it normally would consider. Essentially, the commission should evaluate the application to see if the application implicates public health and safety issues, and whether those issues at the end of the hearing, when they're hopefully resolved, whether they outweigh the need for affordable housing in the community, and importantly, whether they can be addressed with reasonable modifications. So in that sense, it is somewhat of a collaborative process. We've tried to resolve all the site layout, design criteria, but certainly the commission has an important role to play if there are, and we will be responsive to comments we get, but if there are changes that can be reasonably made to address concerns that you have at the end of the day, it's within your purview to make those changes as well, and certainly to tell us along the way, would be our hope. The other item that is different about this is that middle provision about outweighing the need for, or clearly outweighing the need for affordable housing. As you know, the state as a whole, and Stonington is no exception, is having a housing affordability crisis. There is simply not enough housing at that price point, and it's incumbent on all communities to provide for that, especially zoning commissions, to provide for all the needs of the community, including people who have the need for housing pricing at this level. And so this is a real opportunity for Stonington to do that. Just the quick numbers on that, so you have a baseline. Stonington has about 6.25, I believe, percent of its housing qualifies as affordable currently. And so that's below the goal that the legislature has set for towns of 10%. And if you look at the breakdown of that housing a little even closer, I believe only 14 of the units in the entire town are deed restricted as affordable. So in other words, the other units qualify for some other reason based on financing or some other criteria that makes them affordable. What we're proposing will be deed restricted, affordable for a term of 40 years, which is what's required under the statute. So it will provide more deed restricted housing in this one project than the town has as a whole currently. So we think it's an important sector of the population that it will serve. We think this site, which is a former nightclub site, which is unused currently, is a good location along the state highway. You'll hear that we have engineered it so that the stormwater system certainly improves over existing conditions, certainly satisfies the DEP Stormwater Guidance Manual as most recently updated, and is protective of the aquifer recharge area, which is located on that side of the state highway. You'll also hear from our traffic engineers that we're utilizing 2 site driveways, which is what exists currently, but we're realigning them slightly to improve flow based again on comments we've heard, and that the traffic conditions are safe. Importantly, I guess, the high-level changes are we've reduced, since we were here last, we reduced the number of units. We originally came in with 113 homes, which during the course of our last application we reduced to 102. We've now reduced that down to 83, so it's a significant reduction. And we did that to address a lot of the comments that we heard. One of the things we've done is that allowed us to make the existing homes slightly wider, so the parking, which is garage under for most of these, is larger, so you can get more. We thought they fit the last time, but it provides more room. It eliminates the parking that would have been allowed as parallel parking in front of the units, and now we have visitor parking that meets all the town's ratios for visitor parking, so we've eliminated those 2 issues. It's also, since the last time we were in, Fair Housing acquired the rights to an adjacent parcel to provide additional area to treat and renovate stormwater, and eliminate some of the underground treatment that we proposed last time. So I think, again, these were all things that, taking into account what we heard, we've gone back, we've made significant effort and investment in improving on these areas of the site, and we're excited to present it to you. So I'll stop talking and I'll turn it over to Sergio, who will orient you on the site, take you through some of the site layout, utilities and stormwater, etc.
Is this mic okay? Working all right? Everyone can hear? Thank you.
Loud and clear.
Thank you. For the record, Sergio Cerenzia with Cerenzia and Associates, offices at 99 Mechanic Street, Pawcatuck, Connecticut. I am a licensed engineer in the state of Connecticut. The plans, land survey, and the site civil plans that were in front of you this evening were prepared by my office in my responsible charge, along with my survey manager, Mark Castellanos. The plan in front of you this evening, as Attorney Ranelli alluded to, I'm going to bring up a site plan. This is a new application, but we will, as Attorney Ranelli indicated, there have been some changes to this site. It's going to look very similar to the last time that you had seen this, but we have Mr. Arganese afforded us the ability of some additional land that we could contribute and utilize for stormwater management. In addition to that, the unit count has reduced. Some of them got slightly larger, so that all netted out to about to the 83 units, which we're proposing under this application. So the site plan which I brought up gives the entirety of the site. I'll zoom in and out of certain areas as I move along. The area that was added to the site was the property to the south, and you can see that's mainly where our stormwater management system now resides. If you may recall, with the number of units and the amount of impervious, the previous stormwater management system was completely underground. That caused some issues and heartache for obvious reasons for the aquifer. When we when we started this new endeavor, the first thing that we did, because of its importance, and my client allowed me to do and advocated for me to do, was to determine an acceptable means of stormwater management that would thoroughly clean the stormwater prior to it being infiltrated or exfiltrated into the ground. So we've had multiple meetings with the town engineer and the assistant town engineer, Mr. Trinkus, who's been recently brought on, who is putting together, I believe, an LID manual for the town. And so we took those recommendations and implemented them because they're good practice and things that we can stand behind that will provide the level of treatment that is consistent with the Connecticut Stormwater Manual, but also what you're going to be incorporating into your stormwater, your local stormwater LID guidance documents. We believe that we've created a very robust and effective stormwater treatment system, along with in collaboration with working with the town engineering staff. This system, which I will put down. So this system, at the southern portion of the property, all the impervious area, the roofs, the pavement is collected and is discharged to this system that's in the southern portion of the property. The system consists of a sediment forebay to settle out any heavy sediments that can be cleaned out periodically under an operation and maintenance, along with some other operation and maintenance activities. But the system that we've implemented is called the gravel wetland. This system allows for the water to move laterally through the system as opposed to just exfiltrating or infiltrating into the ground in its location. We have very high permeable soils in this area, and the concern was previously, which the community was concerned with, the town staff and engineering, was that that water would not get the adequate enough treatment before it entered into the groundwater and into the aquifer. This system, designed in accordance with the Connecticut Stormwater Manual, as well as some other guidance documents which we have been directed to, will allow for that stormwater to get the adequate treatment to mitigate the impacts from pollutant loading. So once the water goes through the system, you can see it comes in from the sediment forebay. See if I can zoom in a little bit more to this. It'll run through the system laterally, overflow to a second gravel wetland, and once it goes through that system, all the calculations that we've done to adequately treat the stormwater, it'll end up into an infiltration area where we get the remaining detention, storage, and then exfiltration into the ground. The system addresses all the major constituents or pollutants, TSS, total phosphorus, total nitrogen, zinc, and reduces those, has the efficiencies varying depending on each constituent, but it meets or exceeds the requirements which were outlined for us to meet. So TSS, we're getting a 96.3% removal. Total phosphorus is 62.2% removal. Nitrogen's a 70.2% removal. Zinc, 88.9%, and total phosphorus 97.1%. And these meet or exceed the state stormwater manual and the town requirements, which were outlined to us by the town engineer. We still have some details to work out with this system, but generally speaking, just to give a summary, the sediment forebay is an area where sediment can accumulate and be easily removed. The gravel wetlands are a layering system where water can permeate and travel that laterally, but has a surface of a organic material and has hydrophilic plants that will grow in there, and that's where a lot of the treatment takes place through this system. and it's going to look like a synthetic or a created type wetland. So it'll have a permanent pool of water within that gravel that won't be seen. It will fill up periodically over time. When we get storm events, the water quality volume is accommodated in there. That's the first flush off of those paved surfaces. It'll get that treatment, and the theory is that once it goes through there, based on the calculations, it gets into that infiltration basin and then is able to be returned into the aquifer cleaner than when it landed on the ground. So going back to the site layout, there's two types of units that which Roz will get into a little bit later, but there's an A and a B type unit. The A units are predominant around the site. Those are the ones with the two-car garage below. As I mentioned, those got a little bit wider because part of the commentary with our previous application was that they're slightly narrow, difficult to get in and out of, and accommodate the larger vehicles. Those have been widened. Once again, Roz will get into a little bit more of the detail of those units. And then the Unit B, which is those are the ADA accessible units, units 56 through 64. Since they don't have garages, they have dedicated parking. Let me see if I can get to that layout. So you can see the numbered, it's a little tough to read, but the numbered parking spaces in the vicinity of those units. Each unit will have 2 spaces. So we meet and exceed the parking requirements that the town requires, at least 2 per unit, plus 1 per 4 units for guest parking. And they actually have 2 surplus units, 2 surplus spaces accommodating all the parking needed for this development in accordance with town regulations. So as I mentioned, the B-type units, all accessible on the first floor, have all their living amenities, and the primary bedroom on the first floor with all the accessibility. The units will also they will have trash pickup, as Mr. Arganese has been working with the solid waste department as late as today to get there, to work with them to make sure that all of the trash pickup can be accommodated. The trash bins will be located within the units for the ones that have garages. The ones that do not have garages, over to the side of those units, side of Unit 64, there'll be a pad that's enclosed for those units, just as we can't park any vehicles in there. There's no space for the trash cans, so those will be there enclosed and then can get pulled out on trash day. And the town of Stonington, as most people know, has a new system where the sanitary folks don't get out of the trucks. They have the arms that pick those up, and then we'll drop those back into place. The entire site will be serviced by Town of Westerly Water. And since we've reduced the number of units, I don't believe we've gotten any further comment from the Town of Westerly that there's enough fire and domestic flow to serve this proposed development. As Attorney Ranelli identified, there are 2 curb cuts that are existing at the site, which we are going to maintain. One of them to the north, the other one to the south, lines up with Pine Street, which was recommendation from our traffic engineer and aptly recommended by your planner early on when we were coming up with this further concept. The sanitary sewer will be serviced by Water Pollution Control Authority. I don't believe we received any further comment to date on that system, but we don't anticipate, once again, any increase because we reduced the number of units and any issues with adequacy with respect to the sewer system. The site will be serviced by electric and communication. We made an effort to strategically place transformers and other equipment and meters on the easterly side of these buildings. Some of them obviously cannot, some of the equipment has to be in other areas, but we fully anticipate that those areas will be landscaped and screened visually so that they don't become an obtrusive visual nuisance. The site, with respect to the parking, again, the previous proposal, because we needed to accommodate the additional parking, there was some parking that were in front of buildings. That is not that's not planned anymore. The garages will be fully cleared for people to drive in and out. There's a small stoop on either that's a haven for pedestrians going in and out of their units, and each unit does have a small landscaped island where there is not a stoop, creating a little bit more delineation. We met with the fire marshal and the fire chief, and he had some commentary on hydrant locations, which we've accommodated, fire alarm pull boxes, and we have adequately identified that we can get a ladder truck, the largest ladder truck through this site. We met with him as late as today, and I think he responded that he was that we had satisfactorily addressed all of his concerns, and we've implemented a couple of areas where there are some tight turning radii of some mountable curb, and we will remove any equipment or hydrants or anything else in those areas in case that truck needs a little bit of extra space to get around some of the tighter turns up in this northeast corner, and this one here on the easterly side. You can see that there is walkways that circumnavigate the site. One of the walkways is between buildings B and C, and then the other walkway being between buildings G and the building E. Those are the ADA units. There's appropriate crosswalks, ADA accessibility, all the way out to Route 2. We've also incorporated a bus stop location, as we anticipate that there very well could be some school-age children here, but also if there's any public transit, that space will be used for such, and they can put up a shelter or something similar for the school bus stop. Right now, there's no sidewalks in this vicinity, but we acknowledge that they may be coming sometime maybe in the future on Route 2 in this area, and we do have space should the town want to put in a sidewalk in the future to connect to any other developments or facilities in this area. As I mentioned, all the stormwater runs from north to south to the southwest. The site just has a gradual pitch pretty much going in that direction, and there's a series of catch basins that will pick up that stormwater within the internal roadways, pipe it all down to the stormwater management feature, which I discussed earlier. There are some more open space areas. We know that was a concern, and so when we went back to the drawing board, we did identify between building E and D, there is a relatively good-sized green space that can be programmed with park benches, with other recreational amenities. We don't show anything there because it's something that is a flexible space, but we're not proposing anything permanent. But we've heard everything to maybe bocce courts, to pickleball, to cornhole, but that's a flexible space. And we have the same thing up in the northeast corner. There's some additional green space up in that corner between buildings H and A. That is space that could be programmed for some for recreational use or otherwise. Another aspect of this that was a concern was snow removal. We do have some open areas that we can utilize for some snow stockpiling. We recognize that given the density of the project and the space constraints, that if you get any significant storm event, which we see less and less these days, but still can happen, that we'll need a good operation and maintenance plan to have that snow removed, and that's both concern of the emergency services, police and fire, which we fully plan to adhere to with a robust maintenance plan such. With respect to maintenance, the stormwater facility, yes, we can design something that's going to be effective, that's going to work, but the comment always comes up, it's going to be someone else's problem down the road, who's going to maintain it, and we fully intend to have, operation and maintenance plan that that system will be maintained on an annual basis as periodically as required for certain things, such as cleaning out catch basins, sediment forebays, attention to landscape and cutting and maintaining the plants within it, so that the functionality of that system remains in perpetuity as long as this development is here. Excuse me. As I mentioned, we have traffic circulation and the two curb cuts with two-way traffic, as well as the pedestrian ways to get in and out and around the site. And each of the units does have some small areas dedicated to the rear with a small say patio or so a little bit of green space for each of the units. Albeit small, but there is a little bit of space dedicated to each unit behind each one. I think that covers the majority of the site civil components. We have gone in front of the Architectural Review Board. They provided us some commentary as well, which I think was provided to you this evening, which we can address. My landscape architect and my architect. And we also received some comment from the Police Commission as well, which we fully intend to adhere to their recommendations. So, if there's any questions for me, or Matt, did I miss anything that you want me to?
No, I think that's, I'm sorry. No, I think that's fine, Mr. Chairman. If there are no, I mean, obviously you can ask questions for Sergio at any time, but we'll move on to our architect if that's okay.
We'll say the questions till the end.
Yeah.
If that's okay with you.
That's fine with us, thank you. So, Roz, if you would take us through the architecture, and then Josh will take us through the landscape.
Hi, my name is Orazio Cifalelli. They call me Roz. I'm with Allies Architecture, and I am a registered architect in the state of Connecticut. I'm licensed in Connecticut. We were asked to design some townhouses, a townhouse project. We had the task of trying to create an attractive, welcoming neighborhood for the residents and guests. We chose to design something that was a little more traditional in design, such as the sloped roofs, where we have three-dimensional roof shingles. At the building entrances, we have some standing seam as an accent. The materials we're using are horizontal siding, vertical siding. We have gables with board and batten and decorative vents on the gables. We have decorative columns at the building stoops, at the unit entrances, vinyl windows, PVC trim boards, PVC panels. We have super corners at the outside corners of the buildings. And with all of these materials, We try then to scale down the buildings by manipulating the building with bumps and jogs, getting some shadow line, a little character. But we also take these materials and colors and we move them up and down the building facade. And that helps us with the perceived height of the building. We've added gables perpendicular to the main roof to help reduce that perceived length of the main roofs. And with all of this, all this manipulation, I think we came out with a pretty nice project. We came up with two buildings. A type A building, which is actually a 3-story wood-framed slab-on-grade building. We have parking under for 2 cars. At grade, we have, well, that's for building A. And building B, where there's only one building type, these are going to house the housing for the handicap requirements, which are, there's only one building type B, which is 9 bays. That building is 2 stories wood frame over a full basement. So if we can go to, oh, there we go. This is the elevations to the building B, the 2-story. We have some standing seam, we have decorative columns at the stoop, and we manipulate the colors. Now the colors are still a work in progress, but we could see how we're using the board and batten at the gable roofs and the decorative vents in the gables. And if we can go to A3, which is the next sheet. A3 is a representation of the elevation for building type A. It's the 3 stories. Here we're using all of the materials, the vertical siding. At the 3rd floor, we have band boards that we're using. We're also using the horizontal siding in 2 different colors. We're working with that. And we're also trying to make sure we get enough of those gables in to break up the building main roof. And if we go to I'd say about A17, we can take a look at the building, or rather the unit plans. Okay, so that's Unit A. We enter in at grade, which is at the far right-hand side. Okay, so there's the entrance. We have a stoop. We can enter into the garage. It's got plenty of room for the 2-car private parking. We have a work area in the back. We have some storage and mechanical. If we proceed up the steps, we go to the 2nd level where the living space is. We have a nice large living area. We have a full kitchen and dining. We also have a powder room there. And then as we proceed up to the 3rd floor, we have our primary bedroom with our primary bath, right? And then 2 bedrooms to the rear of the building, along with a hall bath. So this is a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. That's our Unit A type building, or unit. If we could go to sheet A19 or A20, either one. This is our B unit for the B building. And what we have is we come in, remember it's a 2-story building with a full basement. So now we come in from the stoop, we go in immediately into the living room. We still have the full kitchen, and we still have our dining area. And what's different now here is because it's the handicap unit, we need to have our primary bedroom at grade, and it'll have a primary bath as well as a sufficient walk-in closet. The primary bathroom is the handicap bath. And then we proceed up the steps to the 2nd floor where we have 2 additional bedrooms, a hall bath, and we also have our laundry area, the one that's on floor. And those are pretty much the two units. There's an interior unit and there's an end unit, and they're very similar in both cases. The unit A simply has more fenestration along the side of the unit, and then on the building B, we actually capitalize at the, by trying to gain a little more room. So we have a small bump, we get a little better kitchen out of it, and then on the second floor, we're able to create a laundry room with ample space. And that's pretty much the two townhouses. A couple other really quick things is that in both cases, the building type A and the building type B, they are fire sprinkler protected, and they also have the 2-hour demising wall, the 2-hour firewall, if you will, between the dwellings.
Okay. Thank you, Russ. Now you'll hear from our landscape architect, Josh Wheeler, who will take you through the planting and landscaping plan.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. My name is Josh Wheeler. I am a licensed landscape architect with BL Companies. What I want to do is just start out on Liberty Street. As you can see, we do have some parking along the frontage there, so we wanted to pay special attention to that and honor the code requirement of some buffering, parking lot buffering. And so we've done that with a hedgerow to block some of the light from the headlights shining on Liberty Street, and also installation of trees spaced 40 feet on center along that edge. When we were at architectural review last night, they made a comment and asked if we could continue that same look further south along the stormwater basin area, and we of course agreed that that would be a very good opportunity to add some more street trees. We do have to pay a little bit of attention because there are overhead wires in that area, and there is the retention area. So we have a very small pocket, but we are able to do some vestigiate red maples in that area, and we'll be able to get those in there. The trees that are along Liberty in front of the units would be more honey locusts and maples, so they'll get a little bit larger. They'll help bring down the scale of the buildings as well from the front. As you enter into the site, we do have trees tucked in a lot of the islands that we're able to get them into where there weren't utilities. We did have to pay attention to the type of tree that we're using as we start to get a little bit closer to the road. We've picked more of an upright version, so we have zelkovas in those areas. As we get a little further towards the outside edges of the property, we do go back to the red maples and red oaks, so we get the native plants back into it. We are providing screening around all of the transformers for electrical and communications throughout the site. We are also providing a community space that, like Sergio mentioned, we're not programming it at this point. We do anticipate there being picnic tables, the opportunity for kids to be out there and play, kick a ball around, or throw a ball around. And those are next to the Unit B area. That's a fairly large area. And then there's a slightly smaller area towards the north end of the property. That area we anticipate would be another lawn area with some shade trees in it. So it could be a gathering area for kids to play. It could be picnic tables to have just a little gathering at, in the afternoon. Obviously, the circulation around the site with the crosswalks shown. One of the comments that came up at architectural review was that they'd like to see some evergreens along Liberty Street. As you can see, our property is a little oddly shaped along Liberty Street, and there's a good portion of that that is Connecticut DOT. So we're not allowed to be in that zone. The other smaller area that we do have, it would be within some of our sight lines. It would create an unsafe situation to do evergreens in those areas, which is why we had chosen the larger shade trees a little further back off the road. There was also a comment about putting in some plantings along the facades that face Liberty Street on the units, and we're totally on board with that. That is something that we will add into to the mix. That's,
All right, and Michael Dion is our traffic engineering and setting up.
Can you hear me? For the record, Mike Dion with BL Companies, professional engineer, professional operations engineer. You do have the traffic impact study. I would just go through it, but I am a very visual person, so I did prepare a presentation. And Sergio doesn't want to run it for me, so I'm going to run it myself. But, you know, I would just go back to, you know, we were here before, 103 units. I could just say less units, less traffic. But, you know, why do we do a traffic impact study? We do it to determine if there's any impact due to this development. And if there is an impact, what kind of mitigations we can propose to take care of that impact. Typically what we look at is we have a model, we build it, we analyze it, and we compare traffic from the no-build condition and the build condition, which would be the without the development and with the development. And what we typically look at, especially for residential, would be just the AM peak hour, which would be typically 7 to 9 a.m., and the PM peak hour, 4 to 6 p.m., which is the time of the day when most of the traffic is on the road, they're commuting to and from work. But this being Route 2 and beach traffic, we did look at a Saturday peak hour too, so I wanted to make sure that we captured the different time period. What we had done is the previous study, we had done counts at 3 intersections, Pine Street, Manor Street, and then we did the Veterans Way intersection as well. These counts were done in 2015, 2023 during the summertime. We also go out in the field to verify, take a photographic inventory. We want to make sure that what we're inputting into our program is what's shown on the traffic signal plans or what's actually out in the roadway network. So we go out and do that. And then there's also historical data we look at, which the DOT has a traffic count station up the road near Veterans Way where they count traffic every 3 years. So that data, we would take a look at that. Looking at our no-build condition, as I said, it represents the conditions without our development. So we took the traffic that we were previously counted in 2023. In the discussions with Connecticut DOT, we grew the traffic by 1.5% to 2025 this year to get our existing conditions analysis. We also discussed with the town other developments in DOT. DOT brought up the hotel that was done. We did that project, so we knew about that one. And then there's also the development up the road by Voluntown Road. It's not really going to have a huge impact on this one, but we did want to account for it. One thing that we did want to look at is because when we did the hotel project, and it was brought up last time, we had spring counts for that, and we had summer counts for this. We counted the same intersection in both ones, so the Veterans Way intersections. So we had good data from the spring and the summer. And we found out that the summer traffic, especially coming southbound, was 23% higher. So we used our summer counts as our base data and didn't use the spring counts. We did also send our revised counts to Connecticut DOT Policy and Planning, and they approved them for us. So everybody knows the site. We're talking about 83 units of attached housing, 2 site driveways, one opposite Pine Street, one a little north of Manor Street. We projected those traffic counts to 2027, which is when we are anticipating having this constructed and in operation. Then we generated our traffic for the site, distributed to the roadway network to come up with our build conditions. And how do we do that? We have a document from the Institute of Transportation Engineers called the Trip Generation Manual. And they've been around for 70-some years, collecting traffic data probably for 50 or 60 of those years on all different land uses. And that's where we come up with the number of trips generated for our site. And we take our no-build traffic, add this traffic in, and that's our build condition. ITE, Institute of Transportation Engineers, for this development, we're looking at 37 trips in the AM peak hour, 46 in the PM, and about 58 in the Saturday. Part of also what we looked at is the site distances out there. There were 2 different site distances. Stopping site distance, which is vehicles on Route 2 having the ability to stop in time if somebody pulls out of the driveway in front of them. And then intersection site distance, which is where the drivers at the driveway can see far enough on Route 2 to make sure that they can come out safely. Typically, you would look at the design speed of the roadway, which in this case would be about 45 miles per hour. But we looked at, because we have the count station up above by Veterans Way, and cars were traveling actually about 60 miles an hour up there. So we looked at the site distance for that speed, and we required, or about 645 for stopping and 720 for intersection, and we exceed both of those conditions. We also met with some of the public the other day, and there was mentions about why didn't we do Glasgow Road at Fleece. So we didn't have traffic counts coming out of those streets, but we do have the traffic counts on Route 2. So what I did do is I took a look at it since that meeting last week, input it into our program, and the yellow lines are basically what the IT trip generation says would come out of those roads based upon the number of houses. So the green lines are just what I put into the program. I rounded everything up to make sure that we're being conservative. I just want to mention too that the Institute of Transportation Engineers and Connecticut DOT typically wouldn't look at any development that doesn't generate 100 trips in the peak hour. They consider that insignificant and won't have an impact on the roadway network. So I just want to make sure that we say that so that you can see that the applicant has gone above and beyond and done a study when typically you would probably look at the site driveways and call it a day. I also would be remiss and not say that Institute of Transportation Engineers, as I mentioned, they've been collecting data forever. They did come out with the 12th edition just 2 weeks ago. So I wanted to look at the data compared to the old one with what we did in our study with the new. And the AM peak hour trips for our development would increase by 2 trips. The PM and Saturday, though, would actually decrease by 5 and 19 trips, according to their latest data. It wouldn't have an impact on the study either way, but I just wanted to make sure that you're aware of it in case somebody looked it up and saw there was a 12th edition. This graph here actually shows the hourly distribution of the traffic on Route 2. So you can see that it comes up into a peak in the AM between 7 and 9, goes down a little bit during the lunch hours, and then comes back up between 4 and 6 p.m. So that's how we choose our peak hours that we look at. This graph here actually shows IT's numbers for, or percentages of distribution on what this type of development of housing would have their traffic. And you can see they have 2 distinct peaks, just like the traffic on the roadway. And you can see in the AM, they've got about 8% of the traffic coming out as a high, and in the PM, about 10% coming and going. Trying to be fast, cognizant of time. But what we do with all that information is we take it, we put it into a program called Synchro, so that it calculates delay at each location. And that delay is based upon a letter grade, A through F, just like you're in school, A being the best, F being failing. Level of service D is what Connecticut DOT considers acceptable and strives for everywhere. 2 intersections at Veterans Way, you can see no build and build in the diagrams there. They both operate at level of service A right currently, and they stay at level of service A when this development goes in. With our development in, we do have the levels of service there, and we did as I said, the Glasgow Road at Felice, we just inputted numbers. But you can see between build and no build, there's no change in level of service at any location. They all operate at level of service C or better. We also looked at the crash data out there. We did look all the way up to Veterans Way, but I wanted to concentrate here on just in the vicinity of the site. There were 6 crashes in the last 3.5 years. One at the very top there, the little red dot, is a side swipe at the merge where the lane ends and 2 cars must have run into each other. And then the other crashes, there was 2 rear ends, 2 angles. One, the picture there is a car lost control and went off the road. So there's no discernible patterns out there for why these crashes are happening. So we couldn't really say, this is happening, let's do this to fix it. Just some of the conclusions. All the intersections operate the same level of service before and after. So that there's not going to, we would consider this as not having an impact on the overall street network. We do recommend installing stop signs and stop bars at the site driveway. Make sure that, as Josh had mentioned, maintain those sight lines. Can't plant anything that'll be in the sight triangles to obstruct views. Meeting with the public too, somebody had brought up, how about an intersection ahead sign on southbound Route 2 for the northern driveway. We're more than willing to show that on the plan. This will go to DOT for an encroachment permit, so they'll take a look at it and agree or not agree to have that sign in there. It's a sign, I can't imagine why they would say, but it's ultimately up to them. So one thing that also was brought up, why didn't we consider a traffic signal at the site driveways? There are federal requirements, warrants what they're called, to install traffic signals. The one that Connecticut DOT looks at is that they'd be what's considered an 8-hour traffic warrant. You would need to maintain about 125 vehicles coming out of those driveways for 8 hours over the course of the day to warrant the installation of traffic signal. We're not going to come close to meeting that, so DOT wouldn't even consider a traffic signal there. And as I mentioned, it's going to go to the DOT for an encroachment permit, so they are going to take a look at all this information again.
Thanks, Mike. Mr. Chairman, I have just two more things. I'm going to cover the affordability part of the plan, but before I do, there were just two housekeeping notes that I forgot to mention at the beginning. We did send out the mail notices, return receipt requested to the abutters list, and we returned the return of receipt records to Clifton earlier last week or so, and then this evening we had received one additional, which we provided. We did as well provide written notice to the Westerly Water Company so they could comment, and we have received no comments from them. And we also provided a notice to the Connecticut Department of Public Health Drinking Water Division, and we've received no comments from them as well. Just wanted to make sure that was clear. Then I guess the other piece of our application, if we could, I can just focus you on it, is the affordability plan as required by statute. We provided with our application materials a draft affordability plan. It's called draft just, because this question always comes up, because it's never really final until after the approval, and really all the data in it has to be updated at the time the COs are issued, because the formula for calculating affordability is based on statistics, including median income, and those between the time, for example, you get an approval and the time you get a CO, those numbers change. So these are the current figures. We would have to update this to the then current figures at the time of the CO. So that's why it's called a draft. Under the plan, as I mentioned earlier, and as required by law, 25 of the 83 units would be deed restricted as affordable. Those units would be divided between units that are affordable at the 80% level and units that are affordable at the 60% level. Again, all of this is prescriptive in the statutes, and they have to be deed restricted for a period of 40 years. Our plan also includes the affordability calculations. These are all rental units. So we've included the affordable rents. The rents for the 80, and they're all 3 bedrooms, so there's really only one housing style, so there's really only 2 rents calculated, one at the 80% and one at the 60% level. The 80% level estimated rent under current figures, again, it would be updated at the time of the CO, and then would be updated regularly after that as well, for a 3-bedroom unit affordable to persons or families earning 80% of median income, the rent would be $1,940, again, for 3 bedrooms, 2-car garage, and all the amenities that Ross described. Interior would be included. The 60% rental units would be rented at $1,367. Again, so you can see, if you are at all familiar with the rental market, these represent tremendous values and tremendous opportunities for people who may not otherwise be able to find housing, and that's really the intent of the statute. The rest of the units would of course be rented at market rate, and again, that would be the market at the time of rental, and that's not regulated by the statute, but again, that's sort of the bargain the state has made to incentivize the developers to try to provide affordable units. But, to be clear, these, you really need to design for the market rate units, and the units, by the way, have to be the same. You can't have a different standard or different quality for the rental units. So all of the affordable units are the same quality as the market rate units. And we did have a meeting with the public, informal meeting, and one question that came up, or concern that came up, was whether these would be turned into Airbnb units or VRBO or that kind of subletting. And the affordability plan and the law prohibits subletting or that type of short-term occupancy of these units. So just to be crystal clear, that would not be allowed. There would be no ability for someone to rent this unit and sublet it out. It would be a violation of their lease. They couldn't list it on Airbnb or one of these other services. That also would be a violation of their lease. And in addition, while I'm talking about leases, in our affordability plan, there's a detailed explanation of how affordability is calculated, and to make sure that people qualify, people who are in these units actually qualify for these units. And there's also a lease rider for the affordability provision. And just one last comment about the choice between rental units and sale units. We are perfectly open to hear the Commission's preferences, or if the town Affordable Housing Committee or anyone has preferences. One reason a lot of towns prefer rental units is because the affordable income is verified annually, and there's a report provided to the town. So in other words, every year you make sure that the unit is actually in use, serving the portion of the residents and rental market that qualifies. And if someone, as their income increases, is no longer eligible, they have to vacate the unit. They can be offered a market rate unit in the same building. So, I mean, that's fine. They certainly could do that. But the unit has to be occupied by someone who actually qualifies year over year. And that's attractive to some towns, especially when they're really trying to make sure those units don't disappear, so to speak. And there are things to be said for ownership units as well. I mean, we all want to encourage ownership, and I think that was our original intent when we were before you last time. But one of the realities of going with the ownership model is that those units, once someone buys them, even if their income increases so they're no longer income eligible, they don't have to turn the unit over, so it's sort of out of circulation unless and until that person sells it or moves. Again, in that model, it's perfectly fine, and it does encourage ownership, and when they sell it, they also have to sell it at an affordable price. But the experience some towns have is it takes the unit off the market for a longer period of time. So I mean, it's a little bit into the weeds. So to back up, we're proposing all rental units. That's what we have. But we're certainly open to hear if there's some strong preference or housing need for sale units, but that's not what we're proposing. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Does that conclude your presentation?
It does, obviously with a response once we've heard from the public.
Does anyone have any questions for the applicant's attorney or the consultants that are present?
You're gonna get the, we'll get to the public first? Get to the public first, I think.
No, just keep your comments quick.
Yeah.
You want to go to the public before the commissioners?
No? Oh, okay.
I was saying keep them quick.
Yeah.
We can't hear you.
It's okay, I'm speaking
I'm sorry.
procedurally.
So the commission is gonna ask questions.
Correct.
Yeah.
Just in the interest
That's what I
of time.
said. Does anyone on the commission have questions for the applicant's attorney or the consultants?
This is Ryan, I have a question. You mentioned that there's going to be some kind of homeowners association or group that would be maintaining and be responsible for the maintenance plan, not only for to catch the water control basin, but also, the driveways and everything else, snow. How's that gonna work with rentals? I'm curious who's in charge of that.
Thank you for the question. I think there was some confusion. No, the simplicity of the rental model is the owner.
Okay, so they would be responsible for that
Maintains
solely.
everything. Correct.
Are there any other questions from any other commissioners? I have a question on the basins. Is there any sort of water quality testing program that'll be built into the maintenance and operations model where the actual discharge will be tested and records will be maintained as to the actual performance of the system?
Once again, Sergio Trenzia. I don't believe there's anything in place specifically right now, but it's something that we could explore and implement and put into the operation and maintenance as part of that program and the requirement.
I think that would be an important element. It's not just that it's designed to achieve a certain standard, but that it's actually achieving the standards that it's designed to. The other question I have is the detention basin, or the water quality basin, is it fenced?
There's no plans to fence it now, but that also could be accommodated.
Okay. Again, it's in such close proximity to the units, and the depths, the maximum impoundment depth in it is approximately what?
I'd have to pull that up, but I can check on that for you.
That's okay, you can get back.
Yeah, I don't think it's that deep. I know the last, you asked the last engineer, it was like 7 feet. I don't think it's that deep.
Okay.
I think it's probably maybe 4 or 5 feet deep, but I can double check that.
And we could certainly fence.
I do think that
4 feet.
That access should be constrained somehow. But water quality monitoring and access are two concerns that I'd like to see addressed. Anyone else have questions? Marielle?
So you had mentioned that there were continued conversations going on with the solid waste and recycling department. Is there an update that we can get? Because the last correspondence we had from September 3rd says that it would take 3 hours to do all of the units, and then had some concerns about where storage would be. And so if the town isn't going to be picking up and then there will be dumpsters, they were identified at the exact same space as the play space. So or the outdoor recreation space. So I wasn't sure if there was an updated correspondence from the September 3rd.
Do you want to address that?
I can say that I'm still waiting on it. I've had conversations with the director of the solid waste department. She's preparing updates based off of recent conversations with the applicant.
Yeah, I met Jill today and we went over the whole plan. I met her a couple other times prior, but she actually finished her draft this afternoon. I have it here and I'm waiting for her to give it to Sergio. She's just waiting for, Sergio, to Clifton. And we're just waiting for her to send it in right now. But I do have a draft of it.
You can tell us what it says, or they
Since it's not official, she gave it to me just to review and went over it together. So I think the appropriate thing probably is to, what it basically says is they can do it because originally when she looked at the plans, she assumed that the cars were going to be parking on an angle in front of these garages again, because before, if you remember, we were proposing additional parking in front of the garages, parallel right in front of the garages. And she was concerned that was going to be happening again. I assured her that it's not. In fact, I talked to Fire Marshal today, and we're going to be putting fire lanes in front of these garages so that nobody can park in front of the garages. So that cured her a lot. And also, I let her know it's 2 feet wider because she was concerned about people walking the car. The garbage is outside. And we went through the width and the length of all the garbage pails. And we addressed that. And third of all, if you look at the handicap accessible, we had originally 50 feet. We increased it, we actually asked you to increase it to 70 feet. And what that does, it gives individual people with their regular waste and their recyclables the advantage to pull it out, because we have 4 feet of concrete in front of it. So we open up the fence, they pull it out and either recyclable day or garbage day. And they'll maintain 2 feet of width across at each one, which is required for the new system they have. So we addressed that, and that's Elle in her new letter that she sent it over. So, and I went down, we talked to the garbage company or contractor, and they can actually do it now without any concern. He was also concerned about the turn radius, but when he saw the fire truck make it through, he now is aware that his trucks can make it through without a problem.
We talked about how the water quality basins would work, how water passes through them and through the various layers of it to achieve drinking water quality at the outlet. And during the last application, we had hydrogeologists and a lot of other presentations with regard to the impact on the sole source aquifer that feeds the wells for Westerly and Pawcatuck. Is that part of something that you've submitted to the town that just didn't get presented tonight?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. So even though, again, we've reduced the impact and improved and provided more area for water treatment, we asked our consultant, Mr. Ferrari, to update that report, which we have, but we didn't submit it because we didn't get it within the adequate time before tonight. So we will submit it immediately, after the hearing. I'll spoiler alert. I'll tell you the conclusion is that the new plan is protective of the aquifer and it improves over the prior conditions. But it's a very detailed report like the last one. It mirrors the last one, but it's updated to reflect the new changes.
We have received correspondence, and when are we going to raise that correspondence? Is it before the public speaks tonight that you wanted to raise that? We have had correspondence from an independent party who is an LEP that lives in town and is very concerned about how this will impact on that sole source aquifer.
So I've received numerous letters of correspondence from members of the public over the past week or so. All of those were submitted today into your Dropbox that has the updated application materials. So all of those letters are in there.
Right, I've received it.
And we'll continue to add them as we receive them because those individuals aren't here to speak tonight.
Okay. And we did receive the letter you're referencing in particular today, and we will provide a response. We are happy that it notes that the new plan is an improvement over the last plan, even in the eyes.
So we may have additional questions at the next meeting that relates to the updated hydrogeology and impact on the sole source aquifer. You did say you reached out. Did you provide any of this information to Westerly Water?
Do you mean the report from Mr. Ferrari?
Yeah.
No, we have not. We told them if they wanted additional information that they could reach out to us, but we can certainly reach out to them again directly. We had done that in the last application. We're happy to do that again between now and the next hearing.
Okay, thank you. I guess, does that conclude the commission's questions? Anyone else?
I just have a comment. I wasn't here when the last application came through, but this is just so dense. I mean, this is like 10 pounds of stuff in a 5-pound lot. I imagine this is gonna be full of a lot of children, right? So if I'm living in building A, unit 9, I got a 5-foot backyard, I come out to my front door, and I got asphalt everywhere. I got houses across, I got asphalt, I can't see a blade of grass for 200 feet on either side of me. I mean, I know we're making a big deal out of this little piece of grass here, but, I mean, people need places to play and live and have cookouts and do things. I mean, so.
We understand that sentiment, and yes, there are different housing products. I live in New Haven. I can tell you, I've raised 3 kids there. I mean, there are different housing products that people seek out at different points in their life. I think we will have no problem finding people who find this product attractive and for them. I wouldn't assume that it will have a lot of children. I mean, the numbers don't really statistically bear that out. I mean, certainly there'll be children, but it probably is no more than other, and probably less than certain other housing, because as you said, if you've got a lot of kids, you might want more of a single-family home. So it is a different housing product. It's one that's not widely available in the area, but we think it fulfills a need, and that it's the people who live there will find it that it meets their needs.
Okay. Just to follow up about the Airbnb, I know that the people that are taking advantage of the affordable housing can't use their unit as an Airbnb, but are we saying all of the units in this place will not be Airbnb?
That's correct. It'll be in everyone's lease. Okay. There will be no Airbnb. I think we're all in agreement on that.
Any other questions?
Just one question, and I'm not sure if it came in late with the submission. Was there a lighting plan? I didn't see one with the original submission.
No, there isn't currently a lighting plan, but it'll be similar to what our last lighting plan was.
And we'll provide that.
Lit from buildings and 0-foot candles at the property lines, all full cutoff, and dark sky compliant lighting. But we will provide that to the commission.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else? Last call. Clifton, any further comments?
My report has a few comments that I'm not going to get into right now, but they're there for everyone to read. I've been in conversation with the applicant as well regarding both my comments and the town engineer's comments, so we're working on addressing those ahead of the next meeting, but I'll save my comments for the commission to peruse, or the public to peruse on their own, and just get to the public hearing component.
Okay, perfect.
We'd like to hear that, yeah.
So we will move now to public comments, and I would just ask that, as we said earlier, the hour is late. You will have another opportunity to speak at the next meeting. That in order to hear from as many people as possible tonight, you try to keep your comments to 5 minutes or less. So with that in mind, Janice Mink is the first person on the list. Good evening.
So I'm Janice Mink, and I am carrying 6 letters from my neighborhood. All of them are from people who are concerned about the water quality issues that you have also mentioned. I'm not a hydrogeologist either, obviously, but everybody is really worried about this. And you know, if we make a mistake on this, we probably can't take it back. So the question really is...
Excuse me just one second. I realize that emotions run very high on this.
All right.
But, I'm not talking to you, Janice, I'm talking to the audience right now. We don't want to tolerate booing or clapping here. So please, let's just get through presenting the facts. The board is very interested in hearing your concerns. You have our full attention.
I hear concern on your part as well. This project has gotten really far, and I actually thought it was kind of over. I lost track of it, and it kind of came back again in my awareness level. And I do live in the neighborhood of William Street, and my 2 granddaughters go to West Vine School. There's a lot of children in our neighborhood. To your point about children playing on the sidewalks also, we have 11 children on our bus stop going to West Vine School. So there's many young people. The water quality is our main concern right now. Obviously the design should be child friendly also. But I would like Chairman to give you this packet of letters from our neighborhood.
Thank you for your comments, Janice. Next person on the list is Ali Giroli on behalf of Amy Mink.
Yeah, on behalf of Amy Fish, I'm actually going to allow her to speak at the next meeting. She couldn't be here today. The whole family came down with an illness, but she's the abutter of 195 Liberty Street, so I'll let her speak on her behalf in October.
So is she going to speak again tonight?
No, she's not here. She's terribly
Okay,
sick.
fine.
But I'm going to speak as well, and I think I'm the next person.
Okay. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Ali Girallo, and I live at 23 Russell in Pawcatuck. I want to be clear tonight. I'm not against this proposal because of it being an 830G. I'm in favor of quality housing for our community. I am, however, against the new housing proposal due to the risk of the contamination to our sole source aquifer. On May 13, 1988, the Environmental Protection Agency designated the Pawcatuck Basin Aquifer System as the first federally protected sole source aquifer. In its notice, it reads, "The Pawcatuck Basin Aquifer System is the sole source of drinking water for the residents of that area. There are no viable alternative sources of sufficient supply. And if contamination were to occur, it would pose a significant public health hazard and a serious financial burden to the area's residents." It also states that although the quality of the basin's groundwater was at that time rated good to excellent, it is highly vulnerable to contamination due to the basin's geological characteristics. The sole source aquifer supplies water to 2 states and a total of 14 towns, including Pawcatuck. I, however, would argue that the possible contamination of the aquifer goes further. This is now a town of Stonington issue, and not just a Pawcatuck concern, as the people of Stonington send their children to 3 schools that receive the westerly water. We have already had to close the doors to 1 school. I can't imagine how that would turn out if 3 schools had to be relocated. Fast forward to 2000. In Fairfield, 2,000 homes versus Town of Newton Planning and Zoning, the courts upheld the town's decision to deny an 830G housing proposal due to the possibility of contamination of the Pawcatuck aquifer. That's the only other sole source aquifer in Connecticut. The court stated, "It's hard to imagine a more substantial public interest than protection of a sole source aquifer." I was at the meeting last week. A couple of people in this room were at the meeting last week. What's being told to you today is very different from what's being told to us. We were told that there was a state statute that was requiring him to do rentals. We were told that the hope is that eventually you turn it into owners, and that this rental was only temporary. Now in 2025, we are here and you are being presented with the housing proposal that now 2 experts, Mr. Trinkus, who had 92 issues with the proposal, and Ms. Downey, who you have a letter, who have expressed major concerns of contamination of the aquifer. If you look around and see those who are wearing blue behind me, they too are concerned about their quality of water. These people behind me are residents of our town and they are worried. I am worried. I have attended a majority of the meetings, including the informational session. I had hoped for better. We need better for our current residents, for our children, and for future residents. The town of Stonington is proud of our water and the history of our water, and the fishermen on the other side of the town. In fact, our town logo is an anchor to represent our pride. It is now time for the town to act and ensure that the residents of Pawcatuck have pride and confidence in their water. Thank you.
Thank you. I have the same name again, Ali Giroulo, signed up from a different address, 23 Russell Avenue.
That was me.
I'll clarify for my client because I'm next on the list. My name is Tom Giraldo, and behind every super competent woman is a halfway competent man who rides her coattails, and I'm here tonight to do that.
I don't disagree with you.
I don't blame you. You can take notice of that. I'm fine with it. So we've met before, and I'm an attorney, and I try to spend time with sort of legal perspectives for this. And my wife brought up the Fairfield 2000 case. I brought a copy of it with me tonight so that I could re-give it to the board and remind them that in that particular case, the mere possibility of contamination for an aquifer is enough to deny an application under 830G. The mere possibility. We've got possibilities galore here. I can't believe they went through a presentation to you and didn't at least say out loud, hey, I know that there's 92 problems that the town engineer found here. Instead, you got a presentation that was, we intend to, we comply, we do. It was as if nothing had happened. And so the theme of my discussion tonight is really about the people who are not in the room that matter for your decision. First person not in the room tonight is the town engineer. There was 92 comments. It will be impossible to clean the gravel wetland. That's a comment from them. This design is generic. This design does not comport with the University of New Hampshire standards that you folks gave to them. And now we're only hearing forward-looking intentions of how that's supposed to go. I'll give you the next person who's not in the room. I find this interesting and a little bit unique. Fair Housing owns the property, but it's a matter of public record that there's an open-ended mortgage. The open-ended mortgage has terms and conditions that I think are somewhat relevant for your considerations. The open-ended mortgage is with a gentleman named Richard Mann, and when you read the mortgage carefully, it says that Fair Housing shall not alter any building, structure, or other improvement without the prior permission of Richard Mann. The mortgager, meaning Fair Housing, it will not assume any part of any mortgage, encumbrance, lease, or lien without the prior written approval of Richard Mann. So now you've got somebody who's got some sort of veto power over the construction of this project who's not in this room. Somebody has some sort of veto power over the finances who's not in this room. It gets better. The mortgage, according to the note filed, all public record, all on the Stonington website, says that despite the transfer of the property, for 4 years, there will be no payments made. So that gets us to about 2027, if my math is right. For 2 years, there will be only interest payments on over $1 million of the purchase price. And then after 6 years, the full balance is due, and that's the maturity date. But here's where that gets interesting. What are the default provisions of this mortgage? They include paying your taxes. If you don't do that, the owner can move in. The owner can take over. It says it explicitly in the mortgage. I'm going to be giving you all of these things. Well, it turns out Fair Housing had trouble paying about $1,300 worth of property taxes that they made right about 2 weeks ago. That's a matter of public record. If you can't pay your taxes under this mortgage, Richard Mann may take immediate possession of the mortgaged property as one of his rights.
We're starting to bump up against the 5 minutes here, so
I understand.
I'm interested in receiving all of your information.
I have it for you to have. I will move through.
You have time before the next meeting to submit something in writing.
Understood. If you can't pay your taxes of $1,300 over the last 2 years on time, what makes you think you can get through a safety plan for a gravel wetland where there's an enormous amount of concern from public and professionals concurrently? The last few people who are not in the room, and I will be brief, are the school system. As I understand it, there's a request to waive the school impact study. That is preposterous. It's ironic that we are in this building right now having this discussion. Think long and hard about that. Most importantly, the safety issues that surround that might be just how crowded the Stonington Middle School is. You want to know how I know that? I'm part of the crowding problem. I have 3 children in it right now. I know what they're going through. I think there's safety problems there, and we've already added a project up the street on Valentine Road where there was a study done there. I can't imagine why it wouldn't be done here, especially with all the issues.
You should wrap it up, sir.
I will wrap it up.
I have others who want to speak.
Deb Downey is not in the room. She gave me her letter. I will
We
not
made
let that.
reference to her letter.
Yep.
We all have it.
And I do not want that shortchanged. She's made it very clear, and she is as qualified as the day is long to make comments on the propriety of this particular
I agree, and we'll give
project.
it full consideration.
And finally, even if these guys do everything right and get their project right, an HOA is going to be in charge of this. A developer wants to move on. That's the business model. And if an HOA is in charge of this, you have absolutely no idea who's going to be taking care of this water 10, 15, 20 years from now. That is hard to swallow. And if it's fair housing, they couldn't take care of their property taxes. I have no idea why anyone thinks they can take care of the water. Thank you for your time.
Thanks. Were you Tom Giroulo?
That's me.
Okay, fine. Patricia Morris. Patricia Morris?
Yes.
We can.
Just give it back to me when you're done.
My only comment is because of the lateness of the hour and the fact that people are bringing up my concern about the aquafilter, I would like to pass for tonight and come to the next meeting.
That's fine.
And I need the date. I'm not on the internet.
October 21st.
October 21st, same time.
October 21st here.
Jacques Dufresne.
My name is Jacques Dufresne. I'm the owner of 136 Liberty Street along with my wife. I also run Leopold Pond Farm there. My concern is obviously for the aquifer because I own the pond that's there. So you're developing that water treatment system. Pretty good job, not bad. The issue I'm seeing with this whole thing is that this is meeting the minimum requirements for maximum profit, and it's on that aquifer. This development could poison my pond. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't need that many people there. Maybe you could put 20 houses. Maybe that would be enough. Think about that. Have a good night.
Thank you, John. Seth McAdams. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. My name is Seth McGowan. I live at 28 Russell Avenue. Just have a statement here that to make. And this is based upon record right now, not hearsay and what's been talked about here. This is from the actual documents that are available to us right now. So this project continues to ignore the basic community, excuse me, the basic community health and safety protocols, as well as the duty of proper planning and design that the residents of this town and surrounding towns deserve. According to the information posted by the Department of Planning, there are 10 agencies/agents responsible for review and comment on this submission. Currently, only 3 of those agencies have provided comments. They are engineering, planning, and solid waste. The concerns from these departments alone should be enough to decline this application, as they highlight the many failures and shortcomings of this submission. The most important issues and concerns outlined by these agencies, from my interpretation, include but are not limited to the following: household tenure, rental, or sale of the units, the validity and completeness of the affordability plan based upon the actual intentions of this project, absence of deed restriction language, absence of HOA establishments and bylaws, absence of a lighting plan. I can go on and on with this. The absence of a school impact study, absence of school bus pickup and drop-off locations, pedestrian and vehicular traffic and movement concerns, stormwater management, design, and maintenance concerns, and non-conformity to University of New Hampshire Stormwater Center specifications and maintenance requirements, erosion control concerns, snow placement and removal issues, stormwater and construction runoff concerns, grading concerns, potential conflicts of sanitary sewer lines and stormwater management line placements, an incomplete turning movement plan that will affect fire apparatus, emergency vehicles from entering, traversing, and exiting the site, trash removal, and receptacle placements. These are just my most important ones that I could pick out from those documents. If the remaining agencies responsible for comment do provide those comments, as they are obligated to as stewards of this town. And I ask everyone here to call them and advocate for their comments. The laundry list of issues and concerns will only be exacerbated and will help to support this application incompleteness, as well as expose additional vagaries and risks to public health and safety. My opinion is that this applicant has demonstrated on multiple occasions through their submissions that they do not have the knowledge or expertise to execute the planning phase of the project in a manner that provides the necessary protections for the aquifer, the town, or the future residents of this development. Execution is a product of proper planning, and if the planning phase cannot be mastered, the execution phase of the project will be a total disaster. In closing, this project is flawed, ill-intentioned, and disguised by a loophole in Connecticut state law that could end up being one of the worst environmental and communal disasters this and surrounding towns has ever seen. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Michael Murphy.
Michael Murphy, 1 Glasgow Road. I live directly across from where this project is proposed. The traffic study, they talked about it several times. We talked about it in the last thing. It's where the roads come in. I don't know if you've seen it on your computer. It's a tight where the lanes change. Very much an issue. If somebody would stop to go in that first entrance, 2 cars coming up at high speed, there's going to be some issues. I think that needs to be addressed, and I hope the board thinks. The other thing I want to comment on is you guys even commented yourself, it's much too big a scope for the small piece of land that it sits on. I'm not against any development in this area. It should be something going in there, but 86, it's the same as the 113. Even the comments today, it was the same kind of shape, same kind of design. If things were lessened, I'm sure we could all come to a conclusion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Wendy Schmidt. Good evening.
I oppose this bill. I oppose this proposal, and I hope that all of you on planning and zoning seriously hear what we're saying and do the same.
Thank you, Wendy. Helen Jankowski.
My name is Helen Jankowski, and I live fairly far from here at 430 River Road in Pawcatuck, but I am really concerned about the sole source aquifer and the health of the wells that depend on it. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Janet Johnson.
I'm Janet Johnson. I live on 8 Devon Drive, and I am not at all in support of this plan. I think the idea of putting this drainage on top of the aquifer is a wrong idea. You wonder how many other aquifers have had this system above them, you know, what has been the impact, if at all. And I'm curious to see how this impacts the school system. We're already over too many children at one of the schools, and what impact would this have? A three-bedroom home would certainly bring in a lot of children, and we don't have the space for them. So, thank you.
Thank you. That brings us to almost 10:30 here, where anyone else wish to speak at all that didn't sign the list? Okay, we have several other people. We'll get through these people and then perhaps adjourn for the evening. If you just state your name and address, please.
Hi, good evening. Rose Vandover. I'm actually a town councilor in Westerly, and I'm curious to know, we didn't know anything about this. I don't know who was contacted or who you spoke to, but the town council knows nothing about this project. We're just learning it. I actually happened to catch it on Facebook, and we are greatly concerned about our water quality. We all live off the same river as you do, and we're very concerned about that. I also find this, I'm a real estate appraiser by trade. I find this development incredibly dense. if you have to do a study to see if a fire engine can get in there, that's concerning. Also, there's no yards, there's no decks, there's no porches. You're backed up. These units are backed right up along the property line. I've never seen such a thing, honestly, in 37 years of appraising homes. I would almost rather see it as homes for sale than for rentals, because at least there would be pride of ownership. I can't imagine where these kids are going to play. It just doesn't make any sense to me. Like the other gentleman said, maybe 20 units in there. That might be reasonable, but 83? I can't even believe they proposed 113. Let's see. Yeah, our water is paramount. We don't have any other source, and I really just hope that you take that into consideration. You're not only talking for the people of Stonington, you're talking for the people of Westerly as well. And I'd be happy if someone could reach out to Sean Lacey, our town manager, or so we could get filled in on this, stay abreast of it, show up at your meetings, and we probably will not be supporting it, but I thank you for your time.
Thank you. There was one other hand up. Yes, sir.
Harry Clark, I live in Antoinette Street, Pawcatuck. I'm a civil PE. In a prior career, I used to do land development and site plans, storm drainage, that sort of thing. So when I look at this, I can see it's crammed, it's jam-packed. And I would just like to point out that if this does get built and installed, it's you guys that allow it to happen. So you have that choice. Now when I'm out driving, I'll be with my wife, and something I designed, I take her through. I'm sure she's excited about that. Say, oh yeah, I did that. That site plan, that hotel, that whatever. So if this appears, I would appreciate if you drove through with your family now and then and say, hey, I put this here. Because it's going to be you, whether it's put there or not. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else that wishes to speak, either for or against? Yes, please step forward.
May I have the microphone?
Hi, my name is Nick Verzillo. I live on Manor Street. And again, I've talked to my neighbors, they're not here. I think possibly because of the location where we had this meeting, and they're getting a little upset because we thought possibly they would come back with a good plan. Hate to say that, but getting back on a couple things on the traffic study, just so you know, going east on Liberty Street, the cars are coming through there no matter what anybody tells you. I live it. They're going through there 50, 55 miles an hour, right in front of Manor Street, Rossellini's, Russell Avenue, Pine Street. Pine Street, they start to slow down. They're going through that fast, but they're also going through two abreast because the traffic control situation there is non-existent. They got some signs 100 yards down the road, doesn't do any good. It's got to be something a lot better than that. But I want to let you know, with a traffic study, they don't tell you how many near misses. And I can tell you there's near misses virtually every day, every other day. There's near misses. So with that, someone's going to get killed. It's going to happen. And if you have 83 units, you have a possibility of 160 cars, roughly, adding to that congested area with those speeds, with the two abreast coming through at the same time. I've lived it, I know it, and that's actually a big thing. I agree with what everybody in this meeting has expressed, and a lot of what I have written down is pretty much exactly the same thing. The water is the big issue. They cannot guarantee you there will never be a problem. They cannot guarantee you that there won't be a problem. They can tell you they won't, but they can't guarantee it. With the aqua filter there, if there is a problem, we're all gonna pay in this room. We're gonna pay through the nose. So like I said, there's plenty of near misses, and that's never included in a traffic study. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your comments. Yes.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
She already see it.
Yes, thank you. I'm Frances Hoffman. I live at 4 Money Point Road in Mystic.
Good evening.
Good evening. I used to serve on the Planning and Zoning Commission, and the only power that the Planning and Zoning Commission has here is to act on issues of health and safety. And from what I've heard, it's clear as a bell that these are major concerns that can't be resolved. And it's up to you all to really look at what is being presented to you. To me, it's a very compelling item after item after item here. So I hope you will vote against this project. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Sir?
Thank you. Sorry. Bill Petro, Wesley Town Council. I get it. We have an issue in Rhode Island too, and in Wesley especially. We're supposed to have 10% affordable housing. I think we're 6.25%. I mean, housing is a key issue everywhere. What you probably don't know is, well, you do know it ain't rained for 30 days this summer. You know that part. What you probably don't know is we probably should have a water ban this year in Westerly. We were right on the cusp of calling one. We wouldn't want to create like a public fear, so we didn't do it. It would have been something small like water your lawns if you're odd houses or even houses, something small like that. But I look at this, and if we had these 83 houses, we definitely would have had a water ban, no doubt in my mind. I'd like to just see some numbers, that's all. I'm sure it's fine, I'm sure in the winter there'll be no issue at all. But if we get some of these summers again, you know, I know this attorney, I forgot his name, but he said he would send some stuff over, or send some contact. I'd like to see him, that's all.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? I heard see another hand back there. Evening.
Good evening, how are you? I'm Carrie Clark, and I stood here before when this proposal was up for consideration. And it's the same issue, it's the lack of green space. We're talking about safety issues, and I mentioned before that there's parents here, there's grandparents here who all know kids like to explore. If you don't give them a place to play, they're going to find one. They're going to find themselves back in that woods. How many times has the Stonington police have to clean out those woods because there's a homeless camp? Because they choose to live that way. I believe, if I'm correct, there's been drug issues in that woods as well. Is that a safety issue? And how many of you would feel comfortable exposing children to that? Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Clifton, at this point,
Motion to table? Or continue to the next,
if the applicant is comfortable, you know, not rebutting this evening, and you know, your rebuttal would be deferred till the next meeting.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. We've been taking notes, and in the interest of time, we will be happy to reserve and come back with our rebuttal and address the other comments we said
We appreciate that. We have to vacate this room by 11 o'clock, and we have a lot of stuff to pick up. Laura, I'm sorry, if you'd like to speak.
Just a really quick thing. I think the most salient point is...
State your name, please.
My name is Laura Graham. I live at 2 Moss Street in Pawcatuck. I think the most salient thing of all of this is the 830G, because that is the thing that really is the ace in their sleeve of pushing this project through, which so many people object to for so many different reasons. I saw the 113 housing or apartment version, and now I see this. So I see there is an intent on the developer's part to try to accommodate the concerns of the people around. However, it doesn't seem like this formula of housing is ever really going to get to where we need to be for people to really feel comfortable with it. So you can try to keep shoving it through with an 830G, but I'm really wondering if maybe it's time to look at other options for the property. And I know, I know Rich Van was trying to do, the Rosalini East redone as the Phoenix and things like that. But I'm just wondering if it really, I'm just speaking to you guys in a very sincere and hopeful way that maybe there's
Laura,
another
if you
way
would
to...
direct your comments to the board, okay? You can't have a conversation
Oh,
with the
okay.
developer.
Well, then I'm just saying abstractly then, in theory, theoretically, that perhaps it's time to come up with a different idea for this property, something that might be less threatening to the natural resources that we all depend on so dearly. I understand when it's a society where we're all making money, but we also need to live generations into the future, and we have to think about what we're going to be giving our kids going forward and the safety of our children. So I say this with a lot of passion that is a primary concern, and it's also built into the legislation of the 830G for public safety. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your comments, Laura. Anyone else? Okay, then at this point, I think we're in a position to adjourn for this evening. And
yeah, actually, let me make a motion, Mr. Chairman, if I may, to continue this public hearing for the PZ 2534 SBA GPP Fair Housing.
Can everybody please be quiet?
LLC.
Folks, the meeting is not over yet, so please take your conversations outside.
I've made the motion to continue this public hearing to the next scheduled meeting of October 21st.
Motion made to continue the public hearing to October 21st.
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion passes.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, no second required. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion is